The theme today is to take destiny in your hands for many of these teams. That's what they're going to have to do as qualification, playoff qualification sits right in front of their face. We'll have to see what goes down. But with these beatdowns, it's going to be me, Cola, and Vicious taking you through the action. It's going to be super sick to see what happens in terms of who moves on and who doesn't. For some of these teams like Feifu Gaming, unfortunately, they are out. They're just here to ruin people's days. For other teams, it's actually do or die time, depending on what happens today and in the next episode. We only have a few more to go. We only have a few more episodes to run through, but I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be some of the best action you are going to see. Top of the line, we'll see who stays flying out here, see finally Japan, but it's been like that throughout the entirety of the league. And you can see right here how the back and forth has went for the away side and the home side. It's not just I sit on the home side to get my victory, having that slight little lead, being able to see what the away side puts up and have a better strategy. It's been in contention all the way through, and this again has once again been one of my favorite seasons. And for a lot of people out there, I've been listening to what the people on the streets have been saying, been one of their favorite seasons too as well in terms of variety. Overall though, once again, go back to things and how things are going to be going down. A lot of these teams are in contention still. There's still a chance for some teams to not make it. In fact, real quick, I'm going to break some of this down just real quick. Yogibo Reject already confirmed to proceed. They need 10 points in difference against CR, aka Crazy Raccoon, in this episode to confirm first. And listen, they're all playing for that money, no funny. 5 million, 2 million, 1 million, respectively, for first, second, and third. But again, qualification is what we're looking for. Back to the teams. Crazy Raccoon needs 20 points this episode to confirm their spot. Hiroshima Team Itsuka needs 30 points difference against VARREL to confirm themselves for this episode. And VARREL, well, they need 15 points difference against Hiroshima Team Itsuka this episode to even proceed. And that's still not confirming until the next episode if that happens. Now, if Team Itsuka gets 40 points, they're going to have to get 40 points as well. So they're going to have to get a 40 bomber if Itsuka gets their 40 bomber. And last but not least, CAG OSAKA will need 10 points to stay in the race at the very least. And if they want it in their own hands, the destiny in their own hands, they need a 40 bomber this episode and a chance of proceeding without affecting other teams or being affected by other teams.
You know, I gotta say, as much as it gets into high octane action, I love the fact that the race is just so close. I was a little bit late on that analysis, but we do have the same type notes. So with that in mind, 4 of these teams are really trying to vie for the most advantageous positions as possible, right? Yogibo Reject already kind of solidified it, but for Crazy Raccoon, Hiroshima Team Itsuka, VARREL, and COG OSAKA, this means everything for them, right? Nobody wants to get knocked out at the very last state of it all, with just 1 week remaining, with everything that has been going down thus far, and it's going to be so tough to manage. Being on the away side with Yogibo Reject, Hiroshima Team Itsuka, and Crazy Raccoon, it's going to be kind of a tough, I want to say, toss-up for the second match and the third match in particular for those 4 teams, but right now for Yogibo Reject and Belc Gaming, it is a little bit tough to kind of call it this way, but again, Yogibo Reject, they got to be feeling kind of confident. Fable Gaming hasn't necessarily been able to step up to the plate entirely, but it's hard to even really assess and confidently say that just because of the demeanor of the team. Like the current order of this team is absolutely just so stacked, right? Who would have expected Lashar to play that the way that he did? Who would have expected for Akira to be as unpredictable when he decided to show up? And Tokido turning it around in the second half, even in not just the Street Fighter League, but also in the CPT, right? So who could have expected any of these to happen towards this part of the league?
Absolutely. And people, if you're expecting somebody to win, you can hit that at Capcom_esports. You can actually vote for what team that you want to get that W and see how you stack up to other people and maybe try to make some predictions. But in terms of predictions for this very first team, we talk about how good Yogibo Reject is inside and outside of the league. However, Feifu Gaming has had moments of brilliance, obviously just way too late on the draw with that sort of thing. Hasn't been able to get as many points as possible. In fact, they're on the lower end of things. I think they're the lowest scoring team. But I've been watching the players talk recently, and especially Ryukichi, saying today, they're going to come out swinging. They definitely want to shake up the standings as much as possible. You don't have a chance to get through, but what you do have a chance to do is really mess things up for other teams. Yogibo Reject is confirmed to get in, as we talked about in the league. However, they're not confirmed to be in that first place spot. And Feifu Gaming could be playing absolute spoiler to that. We'll have to see what happens. And of course, that second and third match is going to be ever so important, as we mentioned, and especially for VARREL and Hiroshima Team Itsuka and how things go down back and forth with that. CAG, of course, destiny in their hands. 40 baller as what they need as the tall order going up against Crazy Raccoon, who's been on a crazy tear lately.
Yeah, and again, Crazy Raccoon only needing 20 points to confirm their spot into the playoffs. I feel like it's highly doable, right? I feel like with them being on the away spot, it kind of like secures, not secures, but it really solidifies the players and what their character selection is going to be like, right? Aqua, Hibiki, Hikaru, I feel like these characters, these players locking down as character specialists too are going to be so important against COG Osaka. But that's neither here nor there. Let's talk about what's happening before us with our first away team, Yogibo Reject, starting things off with Lashar, the Korean Golden Finger, who has been absolutely crazy to fun, crazy to watch actually, and crazy to talk about. Followed by Torimeshi, the High Priest, with that ever impressive Doll Sim, keeping it ever sharp. And what better way to accommodate that with Akira, the Speed Star, coming in lightning fast with that Kami. And the one with a very impressive inception into Capcom Cup. The way that he performed over at the Super Premiere, absolutely flawless. My man Tokido, the fighting game genius, coming in as the captain as well.
Very insane team right here, but Belc Gaming, we've known them historically to be at the top spots, if not winning so many Street Fighter League Japan runs, but not so good this season, considering how stacked the pedigree out here is, you see. But they're not going to go out quietly into the night. They're going to go out swinging as much as possible, led by Sako, Ryusei, Ryukichi, and TS. We're going to get a deeper look real quick as we see them come through. A little bit more energy, pep in their step. Let's start off. Belc Gaming with the Pad Master, DJ Tiesto putting people through the blender, through the mix with the Akuma and the Ken. And he's been practicing both and keeping them up to par and up to speed. And to fight this guy, if you whip a single thing, it's over. Ryukichi putting through a combo video every time he touches you with Ken. It's gonna hurt. After that, it's going to be the eyes of desperation, always open, always ready to peep every frame. It's Ryusei on the Bison. And maybe other characters like JP if need be. We'll have to see. Last but not least, leading the charge is the strongest spear in the business, Sako. Haven't seen him play thus far. I think he's been more on the backseat to be able to give advice to younger players. But either way, again, this team not getting as many points as possible just shows how strong League is. Not how weak they are, but how stacked League is. And you see right there, the eyes of desperation are open right now. We might be seeing him come through in the cut. I'd like to honestly see Ryusei come back, because we haven't seen him show out the way we expect Ryusei to in League. Doesn't really play that much, and when he doesn't really get the results. But let's get the order right now. Away side, Yogibo Reject, Cammy, Ken, and Ed. How you feel about this setup?
This is kind of broken, man. Like, Akira has been on fire lately. Tokido, obviously in that same boat. I don't think Lashar has ever really stopped grinding. Lashar has also been one of the main point getters for this team, so him being on the anchor spot, it just makes perfect sense. I don't see anybody really stepping up to this team, and it's shown week after week. If you've paid attention to the current standing, these guys are in the #1 spot. So, again, I don't think anybody's going to be stopping these cats. I think this order, flawless.
Yeah, 100%. So it's TS going early. You know, I thought TS might come through a little bit later on to possibly fight Lashar, like an on-paper kind of thing. But this was already kind of thing hard to like call just a joke, because you have so many characters that I feel like you have a little bit in terms of like repeat characters or players that maybe not be able to fight the people that are on Yogibo Reject. Like, my notes are all over the place in terms of who I would send up. So they're going to send up TS with the Akuma first. I would assume maybe Sako with his Akuma or Chun-Li maybe second, and then third possibly Ryusei. That's what I'd like to see, I guess, in person, honestly. But I guess we'll see what happens. TS up first. What do you think about this?
TS has been kind of like 50-50 for me. I think he's been slowly improving and figuring out what needs to be done in some of like the higher end meta matchups. And I think him piloting Akuma, it looks solid, it looks confident. It's just a matter of consistency and also playing against somebody who's an absolute nut. And Akira tends to kind of be that player who will steal turns, right? You talked about Scammy Cammy, I feel like he is the epitome of that playstyle. He is not afraid to throw out something that's relatively unsafe and then do something that's absolutely wild to follow suit, right? Either it'd be like the most common example that you will see is a misplaced dive kick that's not necessarily punishable. immediately into like an OD uppercut or a super. And that's happened so many times over.
The unpredictability, even on like a glass skin that is Akuma, is going to be even more difficult to deal with than TS. I feel like he's like, I won't say like by the books, but he's very technical based, and I wonder if that kind of play style will kind of keep him off guard. So I'm, again, surprised to see TS go up. I thought he might go up against like Civil Ashar. He has been kind of 50-50 in terms of like his results. There have been moments where TS has been able to really show out and you know, show out just in general in terms of what he can do with his characters, whether it be Akuma or Ken. More so the Akuma, I think, these days. But we'll see right now. Again, I think when it comes down to like the actual matches, like when he has to fight, even in Street Fighter League, he's a little bit lacking. We'll see if he can turn up though. Akira says, I haven't played against Akuma this season. No, wait, I have played one. I guess I was nervous, but I'll do my best. He played against Bonchan is what he's referring to. So even if you didn't play against Akuma in the league, you have to have played Akuma, or played against Akuma, I should say, in ranked, in the CPTs. When you travel, it doesn't matter. You're going to play Akuma. If you throw a stone, you're going to hit Akuma anywhere in Street Fighter 6 at this point.
Yeah. That's what it feels like. It really feels that way too. So that said, kind of going back to what you were saying earlier, right? I feel like Ryukichi has to be a part of this matchup, like at some point during a part of this match against Yogibo Reject. Ryukichi would actually be such a pivotal part in at least scoring some of the points here, at least making it a little bit more difficult for Yogibo Reject. It doesn't necessarily secure anything because Yogibo Reject is at 245 points all the way at the top, but I'd imagine, like, with the way and the current status of like Ryukichi in the Capcom Pro Tour, he'd want like a piece of that action.
Oh yeah. We'll see. TS says he has the answer to Cammy. Listen, I want that too as well. Write that down. So, interruption. You talked about stealing turns, and we see it right there. Drive first jab. He rebuttals with a button. The perfect parry back throw. Switch position. It's a bust out immediately. Akira, hella aggressive on wake up.
Oh. Damn, I like that confirm. I love when Akumas actually get the confirms like that too. Sometimes it's going to be a little bit dicey, sometimes a little bit inconsistent, but we do love Akuma players that practice that.
Four Fierce up in the corner, especially that follow-up. Ooh, the space trap with the Four Fierce. Carter walking up the crouching medium punch, and just like that, Tatsu level 1 to get it done. That sucks.
Round 2. Fight.
Yeah, again, TS has been showing out pretty well these last couple of weeks, right? He's been figuring out what needs to be done. Spacing-wise, his game sense has been a lot stronger. I don't mind him going for that drive impact to kind of keep Akira on his toes, but Akira's been very, very attentive to that exact tactic for a while now. So him being in burnout is going to be a little bit more difficult. He's going to have to hold all of the frame traps as well, followed by some of these spin knuckles. What do you do about this when you're locked down? You have level 2 as well. I don't think Akira is even going to try to steal via drive impact. He's kept it sturdy the whole way through.
I like that. That's Sammy not giving him too much room to as well, using that button to keep nice and close and personal against this cat. Both stocked up with bar at the bottom, level 3 on both sides. See if Akira might want to go for like a level 3 at the very end of bleed a fireball off the table. That might make the fireball game a little bit. No! Not now! Are you kidding me? He does it early. It was 7 a.m. instead of 7 p.m. Are you kidding me? Akira gets a fat lead off of this.
Oh, you're not allowed to dash forward. Important check from TS. It keeps him alive. You know, at maybe 2 touches, which he's allowed to do, especially after this. Yeah, if he gets a single solid hit into driver's cancel, oh, this is going to be worse, though. It's going to be a pretty bad idea. Fierce right into the confirmed level 3. That was actually beautifully done. I couldn't tell you if that was a buffer from that range, but either way, TS, he gets to hang back a little bit. Oh, you threw a fireball, and Akira read it like a book. Frame perfect. That was actually disgusting. What a read. I got to say, either a read or reactions, or both. That was insane. Akira, are you kidding me right now?
This guy's on one. Even though we did see some good stuff on the side of PS, it wasn't up to put the light Akira and the rest. Cody DP in between the string gets a punish counter as well, eat some damage. No anti-air right there, and try to go for the throw right after. Slight little shimmy with the stand medium. Reversal buttons. TS also operating in a more aggressive way on wake up. DP again, Akira refusing to hold anything at all. Oh, here for the Oki. Medium punch. The stand fierce with the sight walk back, avoid stab from TS.
Yes, sir. Not gonna even try to budge. Dash up twice. What are you gonna do about it? What a whip punish, dear God. He doesn't even need to play the counter poke game like that, but he does it anyway. That was actually insane. It wasn't even like preemptive counter poking. He was absolutely ready for the whip punish. Perfect parry.
The throw, tech though, and Akira, they're active on defense, whether it be tech or, waking up with a button or reversal. What's your defense like up in the corner? Takes back the turn. Counter hit combo for the Sun TS, walk up throw right after. Has him right where he wants him. This is where Akuma really shines up in the corner. Backs up for the go shore you. He'll sit down, back up in the corner. Plus runs off the medium, but staggers the crouching medium punch. Gets a side switch here off the spin knuckle.
Insane. Yeah, relatively close. Yes. What do you do about this?
Stand like.
What do you do about this?
I feel like I was gonna say the proper buttons have been placed here from TS, but the way that Akira's been sneaking in, I mean, it goes for the level 3. Doesn't want to spin that drive gauge. It makes sense. Doesn't want to have to put himself in burnout because TS wouldn't have died just yet. But this does leave TS on the back foot. Not a lot of bar to work with. Could go for the dash up throw, and he does it. One more hit to seal it. With a TK dive kick too as well. Confirm it though.
Oh, he could win this. TS has the shot. Oh, don't get close to him though. Don't even try to throw. Akira, oh my God, that could have been perfect parry. He gets him, trying to move away. That could have been it. Can he confirm it to the target combo? We didn't believe. Oh my God, it's getting too close. TS, please help. Oh.
Brother, you gotta believe like Sunday service. Now you're in burnout. Now you're in burnout. Michael first
does he have the reactions?
TS reactions? I was gonna say, does he have the reactions to deal with the spiral arrow? A dive kick, a jump in? Oh, it's OD instead, too fast. Oh.
He can't keep up with the speed star. The new definition of I show speed in Street Fighter League Japan. Absolutely insane. Akira taking it down 2 games, but it was definitely one of those 2-0s, but it was close though. It was 100% so damn close. I gotta say, man, if there's ever like a most improved factor, most improved title, I gotta give it to TS, man. He's been really like exponentially improving this Akuma. Like the results don't necessarily show it, but I like the way that he's starting to prove himself in game, like in some of the decisions that he makes in game.
A lot more active, a lot more aggressive, and I feel like a lot more confident in what he does for his decision making. Like you see the 4 Fierce and Stand Fierce claiming some of that space against Cammy. It's just that Akira kept it so tight that those buttons weren't becoming a threat or a problem. 10 points, and that means Yogibo reject is solidified for right now. Obviously more solidified, I guess I should say, in that first place spot. Only needed 10 points in totality. Still need to see what happens, I guess, with Crazy Raccoon. We'll get the full breakdown of totality, but they were looking just for a 10-point difference against Crazy Raccoon this episode, and this is looking great for them. Already getting 10 points on the board right there. We'll see what happens, though. Maybe Crazy Raccoon walks away with a 40 bomber and, maybe that shakes things up. I'll do math a little bit later on. It's too early right now. It's too early. You said Ryukichi should come up. Do you think he should come up now for the mirror match, or should he come up later on?
Oh, he's probably going to go up later on. I personally thought it would be for the mirror match for Tokido, but sending out Ryusei for Tokido, that's tough, man. Going in with JP as well, because Tokido, I feel like he's gotten this matchup on lock for a while now. I did not expect this at all. In terms of the matchups, I did not even see Ryusei coming up forward.
No Bison. Last time they fought, Tokido beat his Bison, so I guess he's coming through with the JP. I mean, he's been hyper fixated on JP lately, looking on his streams and sometimes on his Twitter. He's just like, I love this character so much. I'm so glad the character's back. We've seen this character come back for some people with the anti-tires being better with Crouch Fierce, for heavy kick as well. And just more stability for the character overall. And better game sense of what to do with him. He's more of a zoner this season. The buttons are more whip punishable, so you can't just throw out Stand Fierce, crouching medium punch, stand medium punch. But that lends well for Ken to fight those buttons. If he wants to drive rush forward and clip something, it's going to be a lot easier than last season. As you mentioned, I feel like every Ken player has had issue with JP last season, that they have a very good developed game plan to fight him. It's going to carry over now.
Well, this is the only time he's going to be able to exercise it outside of week number 10, right? Like, I think Belc Favu Gaming has not really been able to kind of solidify themselves as the threat that they were initially perceived as with their current roster. I mean, you have a pretty well-rounded roster, right? Like, TS, in my opinion, was probably the most, like, under the radar, because I haven't really been able to keep up with him, but, like, I've seen Ryusei, I've seen his improvements, I've seen how he's, like, kicked in gear towards the second half of many seasons of Street Fighter League. I know what Sakunoko is made out of. I know that he's so well-rounded and understands how to, like, break down the games, that he could both play as a point getter and also as a coach if need be. But like Ryukichi, I was really expecting Ryukichi to be like one of the more dominant players here in the league.
He has been, you know, even like in Street Fighter 5, you know, still running Urian and so doing the most with that character in the V-trigger setups. I was kind of expecting like the bomb setups to be like that, or even something like the level 2 scenarios, even with a nerf JP in the earlier parts of the season, but we weren't really seeing it from Ryusei really at all. So Tokido says, I was good versus JP last year, we saw that. And he says, I was on the same team last year, we practiced a lot, I'll do my best. So he understands how Ryusei plays, but then again, you know, Ryusei is always developing his characters, always developing JP, always has some new tech in his pocket, ready to unleash with the character. So I want to see the change-ups. I want to see what he's learned against Tokido. I know he's been studying Tokido. I know a lot of players have their eyes on Tokido, especially after him winning that CPT Japan. And developing a style with Ken that isn't so obviously optimal, but is good about the player to player. He's good about dissecting the player continuously. And something I've noticed with Ken, and some of the other Ken players have talked about this, is that Ken is like a really good data gathering character. He'll use the Gen Ride to kind of sniff out what you're trying to do, and try to press in some of these sequences. Some of the buttons too as well are just tailor-made to like see what you're gonna do right after, and then use that data for later on, and almost sometimes feed bad data to the opponent. So we'll see what happens. Ryusei also says, I really respect Tokido. He has never told me about how I should play as a professional. Rather, he has shown me through his actions by his own play.
Yeah. You know, he showed off a lot of he's showed up against a lot of the players and has shown out against a lot of the doubters too. So it makes a lot of sense. This guy's been leading by example, that, you know, you can't sleep on him or Ken. I don't think anybody's really sleeping on Ken, if I'm being honest though. If I really gotta like say it out loud, I don't think anybody's really sleeping on Ken.
Well, if the Ministry of Defense has anything to say about that, you know, it's kind of difficult sometimes, but you're right. You know, we recognize Ken as a very strong character, even in the meta where you have Akuma and some of the other characters running rough.
Oh.
And right, far for the medium to hit, go for the sweep. Tokido with a good defense. Again, he's so good about picking you apart, especially up in the corner. That's what Ken would like to do. Perfect fit for him. How's he finish things up?
He walked up all the way. Or I guess he ran up all the way. It's just funny because he looks like he's walking, but no actions taken against the jump. He's just letting Tokido out of the corner. That is actually so interesting to see. Like, I say it's interesting, but it's like it's very unorthodox to see that coming from someone like Ryusei, because he knows for sure what the option select needs to be.
Yogi departure at the distance right now. How does Tokido get in? I like the perfect parries. Drive rush stand pierce. We talked about these elongated buttons being able to get in and get some of the fireball pressure. The go right kick gets the counter hit right after it. He's got the bar at the bottom to express. All he needs is one more hit to give this man an express ticket to the stands. DP, I love that. He went for the parry, able to get that super right after. That was so smart. Being able to perfect parry the fireball. The amnesia. The first hit, deal with the second, and get the cross up right after.
Yeah, that's I think Tokido had shown that off. I think another Ken player had actually shown that off in Japan on Twitter. Being able to hold down parry against like the amnesia, even if you try to like get onto the other side, you're not necessarily like free from getting options selected into DP, right? So that's actually really unfortunate from the side of Ryusei not really being prepared for that, which is kind of weird. Like, I think there have been a lot of moments where I feel like Ryusei just has not been prepared, and I will underline that statement. It's no like it's no like real jab at him. I feel like it's more so Tokido just being way more informed and way more prepared in comparison, right? Like, Ryusei hasn't really done much to keep Tokido contained. He hasn't really done much to get himself out of the corner. It's been kind of rough thus far. I gotta say, this might just be a blowout on the side of Tokido.
It might be. I agree. I think there are moments where Tokido is just able to, obviously kind of break and dissect Ryusei, but Ryusei also maybe not as active that we're like typically seeing. Like sometimes when you drive rush overhead, things like that, he'll drive rush initiate with the button. We're not seeing that too often. It makes sense because you do have the crouching medium punch that you're worried about from Ken. But along with the fireball pressure, if you switch that up, it'll be harder to read. We don't see that activity from Ryusei. He's a lot more pensive. I have to wonder if it's a matter of, I play Tokido and I'm scared to do some of these things, or maybe not scared, but more pensive to do these things than if I had played a different sort of Ken, or if it's maybe a player-to-player sort of thing. I'm not sure, but I don't like this look from Ryusei to switch it up, and I don't think it's a character-to-character thing either. I think if he wants to stick it out with JP, he should. I don't think switching to Bice is going to help him that much more, to be honest. I'd rather him stick it out with JP. I think he is way more in love with that character than he is with Bison. I think the way that he has been speaking about him on Twitter and during his streams, he is like, I want to make this character work. So I hope he doesn't switch. I hope he just changes the demeanor and how he plays.
I hope so. I genuinely hope so. Outside of that, it's going to be really, really tough to manage. Like, Ryusei is just not going to be giving him as much competition as the rest of the cast. I think Tokido is going to be feeling rather comfortable. Of course, he's going to be like talking to his teammates to kind of figure out how to solidify it even further, but I don't think there was any real big threats against Tokido's Ken. He's just stayed so sharp since we last saw him over at the Super Premiere. Like, what do you do now? Like, talking about like paper to paper, I think Ken versus JP. I still think Ken does a great job of being able to get rid of the fireball threat with his drive rush if need be. I think at this stage of the game, one of the biggest points of contention is like what do you do against like the spacing game, right? I think Tokido has done a great job of being able to perfect parry a lot of these things to kind of like wear Ryusei down in terms of the spacing. So it really is rather difficult to see how Ryusei should adapt.
Maybe more fake fireballs at like a longer range, so it's easier for him to be able to react to like a drive rush button and hit that crouching medium push that we've seen. Runs the immediate kick, gets a crouching medium kick, pick up right here, forward heavy kick, crystal slash, dash up for the drive rush, forward heavy kick to get us up the departure. Oh, the attack avoids the departure follow-up.
Oh my god, again. What do you do when you're stuck in this particular situation, right?
Talked about it. You see it right now. Being able to whip punish those buttons a lot easier this season. Reversal buttons, gets the crystal slash into the OD. See no more, yeah, more fake outs. Put a little bit more of that mental stack. Drive impact, and just as I said, give me more of those fake ghosts. I can't believe it's not Ghost.
Oh. So it's departure, man. I'm telling you, man, that drive rush too kind of like gets that whole situation null and void. But luckily enough, Tokido went for the wrong read against Ryusei, able to anti-air effectively.
This close range makes it a lot harder to deal with like pressure that some people can drive rushes, but right now, with that level 3, Tokido never shy about using level 3, even if it's like the second round. He's gonna get that bar back and be like a battery. Once that lead, once him up in the corner, bar back in his hands. Counter hit chin right again.
Ooh. Wait till he falls on his knees. He dropped that combo. A lot of the Ken players have been dropping that. I don't know what's going on for all of these Ken mains thus far, man. These very interesting drops. Caught him crouching. Yes, sir. The big whip punish. You already know it. Extra damage on the Dragon Lash coming up. Oh my god. I can't believe it right now. Ryusei is about to make me eat my own words. There's actually been a very hefty life lead from his side. That is an immaculate jump in. Perfectly timed too. Level 2. I think he's gonna have enough life to kill him with it. Yes, sir. Not enough life. Excuse me. Enough damage coming in from Ryusei. What a jump. I gotta say, man, there's been a lot of I guess, like, slower readjustments from the side of Ryusei, making me eat my words thoroughly. I was actually kind of confused to see what Tokido was going to do to run him over. But as it stands right now, Ryusei keeping the dream alive, and I respect it.
I like to see it. I think the switch up, at least for the first part of that match, was at least doing some more of the fake ghosts, putting more of that mental stack on. We have to worry about what's going to be coming through. Will it be one of those OD fireballs, a normal fireball, an overhead? Having more of that mental noise up on the screen, and as well as, you know, at a long range where it's harder for you to be able to drive rush, staying fierce. Now, when he did get in, Tokido got aggressive. I wasn't able to see the rest of that match, unfortunately, but at least that looked like the switch up to me at the very beginning. And I do like what you say, being a little bit more active too as well with the crouching medium kicks and things like that. A little more activity overall with his buttons and a little bit less positivity. So that has been a switch up for me. What did you see also at the very end though?
I mean, like, I think there was a moment where Tokido kind of like pumped on the brakes a little bit too much, and Ryusei was like, you know what, I'm willing to play this game out. I don't mind that. And also had a very fair read on a fireball that was executed. I mean, as simple as that, I think him being at further range to give him time to react to anything that Ken can throw out, I think is what Ryusei needed, right? To kind of like force a little bit of an error from the side of Tokido, but he also established a life lead prior to that even happening. So I think outside of that, I think it was more so Ryusei just getting the right position against Tokido to either whiff punish or at least get out of harm's way and not put himself into like any sort of like big time throw baits, or not throw baits, excuse me, throw loops over and over again.
That makes sense. You know, JP is a zoner now. Like, he's actually a zoner. He's no longer the man that does it all. He's great with buttons before he had the best reversal in the game. Now those things are more about like resetting back to neutral or going back to the zoning game and keeping people out as much as possible. And now we see like the switch up for a lot of JP players. I have to keep the like crouching medium kick as a speed bump. I have to use stand fierce, but in the proper way. I can't just swing out these buttons like stand medium too as well, where I saw that get whiff punish and drive rushed in on. And as you mentioned, if he gets close enough, Ken can drive rush in with stand fierce, stand medium kick, all the blessed buttons that he has. So you have to keep them out. That's the way to play JP these days, a proper zoner. But I think Ryusei is getting better and better about that just overall as these matches are going on. We'll see if we can keep up that same sort of energy, or what the adjustments will be from the side of Tokido to get in without maybe spinning so much bar or being so risky.
We'll find out, man. I think that's the beauty of it all. I think there's a lot that's been kind of back and forth from the side of Ryusei. I don't even know like what exactly is being said from his teammates. I would love to know, because he's been all smiles thus far, and I think that's such like a positive attitude to have. I think I can't even imagine what his teammates or Sakonoko is possibly saying to Ryusei, but he's done a really great job thus far against Tokido, at least in terms of like the comeback. I'm really enjoying it, but we'll enjoy it even more as we get into it. Here we go. The last game between Tokido and Ryusei. Here we go. Yeah, there's a departure too.
Parry, drive rush, set fierce. We're going for the perfect parry and try to drive rush right after. However, drop gauge out so good from Tokido does hit the three-piece off the target combo. Perfect parry in between the string. Again, back it up.
I'm loving that activity.
Okay, you don't need drive rush.
But pressing a little bit too much. Tokido's bound to whiff punish, right?
Or perfect parry in between the string. Either way, Tokido's going to be prepared for too much offense and the drive impact. Attack on drive gauge. Rumbling might be coming. We go for the Super Gen right. No, he saved the bar. One more interaction. Another OD amnesia. Dash up back throw. Departure set up. Drive rush stand fierce. He takes a throw. Pick us with the fireball. Again, a lot more noise. And now to activate off that level 2 with the overhead nose parry in between. The jump back is caught with a forward heavy kick. Just smart to work with. The advancement gets stuffed and jumped in on.
He had time to anti-air it. That's the thing. Like, I feel like there's like been multiple times where Ryusei's been reluctant to pick one or the either option and gets blown up completely for it, man. Very rough to watch.
Too close with the fake ghost. Trevor Shaft blessing that dome. I don't know about this, Chief. Throw Loop City coming through, could go for a leading fireball if he wants to blow up that amnesia. That could be, he goes for the jab instead. Unfortunately, you say it's for a little more life here. Something to operate with. But what do you do when the DP is there? What are these options from Ryusei? Things that I feel like he's just kind of throwing away and just giving points to reject. Very odd.
That's what I'm saying, man. It's slightly disappointing to see it, and it's also relatively confusing. I gotta say, like, there's other JPs that have like shown off what needs to be done in this matchup, and it's easier said than done, for one thing. And two, you're playing off against someone like Tokido who's gonna force you to make some of these critical errors. But there, I swear, were moments where like where Ryusei should have committed to like certain answers, right, that have been already like proven to work for him.
It's very odd, like even like being up in the corner as we saw, like this right here, just hold the ground. Get your bar back a little bit, go back to that zoning game. You have that proper distance so you do like the fake out fireballs. Go for that option that was working against Tokido before. He chooses to go in. Tokido had an obvious chance at hitting the anti-air with the DP as we see. I'm just very shocked that he was going for that continuously, the options that were getting blown up, but I don't know if it's a character-to-character thing or player-to-player. I don't know what's going on. What I do know is that 20 points on the side of reject, and they're looking for that 40 bomber to send Fave Gaming out in a sadder way. But it's not over. It's definitely not over. As you mentioned, Ryukichi. Got to come up. It's going to be the anchor.
Yeah, outside of that, the only options you would have is like maybe Sakonoko, but Sakonoko really hasn't been one to kind of like contest in this type of matchup. So I think it's going to be another Ken in the gaping maw that is Lashar and his Ed. I feel like he's been devouring so many different players in the meta, outside of the meta even. He's just been looking rather unstoppable. But Ryukichi, I will give him the benefit of the doubt because I think he has some really creative answers for a lot of problems that people face off in this particular matchup as Ken. I think Ryukichi can find a lot of gaps in the armor to force Lashar on the back foot. But we'll see, man, because Lashar could play definitely as the aggressor. He can play infighter and outfighter, right? He's just so blessed to understand and have such high game sense and understand what needs to be done even under pressure.
That's the fear that I have, is that Lashar has been able to evolve his Ed to where it used to be like clean and pristine, but he has a little bit of dirt behind it every so often. We've seen him run the DP in between some of these strings that you wouldn't expect. We've seen him take turns when you wouldn't expect to as well. He's been able to add that to his game plan where it makes it even harder to have to deal with him, and that just leaves more openings for him to lead into more damage. If that's going to shake someone like Ryukichi, it may be looking like an absolute blowout. So I'm wondering what Ryukichi has. This man goes to lab. It feels like every single day I see him labbing out different answers, minute answers in matchups. When Tokido fought Lashar, it was like really that, it felt like the player-to-player sort of aspect. There were definitely some innate punishes, like with perfect parry and like the heavy kick tatsu that we saw, and some very drastic reads like with enhanced tatsu against like maybe if he tried to go for like the kill rush back. You try to call that out. I want to see what Ryukichi now brings to the table that is more character-to-character rather than like player-to-player. We'll see if he's got that. But Lashar says, I was good friends with Ryukichi before coming to Japan, and I'm not good with facing Ken, so I'll do my best. They were both at EWC, and I definitely saw them playing quite a bit. So we'll see what has happened and what has occurred in terms of like the data gathering.
I just kind of wonder. But either way, I think, data-wise or not, I think one of the strongest things that we do attribute Lashar for is having some of the fastest adaptation that we've seen thus far. I think like he's done a great job of showing off his game sense and game knowledge, his very deep game knowledge, and using it against his opponents more often than not to kind of like force him to guess in certain offensive areas too. But overall, like his offense is so well strung together that it's really hard to defend against him. You know what happens when those single openings happening, right? Like you see the amount of meter that he has. He's gonna be dumping it out for some fat damage, lead himself into Oki. He just has such strong instincts in regards to player reads.
Good match, Lashar, Ryukichi. Okay, Ryukichi sort of crouching medium kick. I like that. Run DP hinder. Nice and close for the Oki. Gets the punish counter as well. Delays the crouching medium punch. Gets a go right trade. My man is ridiculous with it. Ryukichi again has these minute punishes and decision makings to get the win. It's a KO, almost a perfect. I might want to give it to him with that P right there. Ryukichi says, yo, talk about me.
Actually insane. Oh boy. Great block on the overhead thus far. Again, some of the creative answers that Ryukichi has, man. Also with the perfect parry, I love that too. The run stoppage, we don't see that too often. Oh, he's delaying so many normals. He has broken Lashard's ankles 3 sequences in a row. Dear God.
Oh, the hospital broke him again. A lot of money. Okay, nice interruption. Gets the gen ride. There we go. Let the level 2 fly. It's in burnout, so you have to make the most of this. Whatever you can do to get this man to desync his controller. Forward Pierce. Bounce him again. Double dashes up. Caught up in the corner. Empty throw to call up the drive impact. Trying to clip a limb. Nice and close. Back with bar. However the gen ride hits. One more touch.
Nice and easy. Ryukichi maintaining the life lead while in burnout as well. That could have been pretty damn scary. Lashard, we talked about those big openings that he had off of a single hit. Ryukichi completely unfazed. I'm loving this right now for Ryukichi.
The way he's like spacing himself out, like that crouching kick was clutch against that heavy in the proper range. Run cancel, no reaction. Lashard maybe couldn't do anything. Does catch a tap parry. The tap parry, have to be careful with that. Ryukichi himself has said that tap parry is a problem for him. Yeah, that's fake. Answers back with the stand jabs. A throw, trade. Drive rushes in again. Look at the aggression here from Ryukichi, not letting off the gas at all.
Oh my God. Within range of the flicker. Oh, I thought that was going to be within range for the punish. That is going to be a punish. Ryukichi, standing medium kick, gets him clipped.
Character has like the proper ways to punish Ken in the areas that he wants to land his butt. So you have to be extra careful. So the heavy kick just like that. Lashard saw it swing once, said twice. I'm gonna bless you for that. Grand kill, just to bait off the throw. Makes him react to Lashard. Took a little bit to warm up, but looking like his former self. Clean and pristine, the kidney killer.
Not to anyone. Damn. We talked about the adaptation, man. The adaptation factor coming in from Lashard. That was a very, very convincing game. 2 rounds straight for the Korean Golden Finger. I gotta say, man, Ryukichi, he's gotta hang on for dear life, man. He's gotta keep it as ambiguous as possible. But it's like, how many other creative ways can you have with Ken to stop somebody? Or even make like a subtle read on some of Lashard's strikes or possibly a perfect parry? That's still gonna be rather difficult.
Like he's trying to switch up like the run stop to get some of that distance, but it's not really working out. You know, your heavy kicks will get the whip punch through as well. Doesn't get the reversal button right here off the crouching light punch counter combo for the side switch. Perfect parry in between the string. Attack on drive gauge. Switch up heavy kick, gets the drive rush button right after it. Heavy kick again, harass that drive gauge as much as he can. But also another issue is like you can't run the gen rise like you'd like to. Easier to punish for this character compared to most. That crouching light kick at minimum.
Single hit to do it, low forward, barely at the reach. The big counter hit as well, into the full sequencing as well, to level 1, enough! Absolutely, Ryukichi striking back.
Round 2. Fight.
Just cannot get any moments, any openings over to Lashard. That's been a big problem. I like the whip punish. Crouching with a kick against a stand medium kick at the proper distance. Neutral jump denied with that DP, rising upper applied, or cycle upper, excuse me, back throw up in the corner. Oh, you're pissing me off. Level 2 up in the corner, wants to harass that drive gauge. Most important part. What's for breakfast? Empty throw, OD fireball, has to prepare to keep that drive gauge up. Ryukichi clutching on that last bit of bar in his pocket for the drive gauge. Back that shot caught, delays the button, still gets hit. Psycho blitz, what's after it? Perfect parry. Will take back his turn, delays the crouching medium punch. Nothing significant though, won't go to the side switch. I don't think he had the bar. Interrupts the go ride kick, no overhead blessings. Sharp said, I don't believe. Game to game, round to round right now. bar on both sides, very important here for Lashar. He's got that level 2. As if he can find an opening, close to that corner actually might be a benefit for him as he finds a perfect parry. Go for it right now. Yes, he will. Okay, DP in play. Dash up forward Fierce. DP again. Just wants the corner carry. Heavily scaled. He just wants to put him up in the corner. Ed can really cook up here. He's got Flicker. He's got the stand Fierce, as you see right there. Many options to deal with. The throw. Started pressing buttons when it wasn't his turn. Ryukichi striking back with a counter hit. He's just trying to find an opening. Some of that OD gauge interrupts the run cancel. Strong gauge not looking so healthy right now, and that might be bad here for Ryukichi. He's not out of options. Can he find a level 3? Get some of that stride gauge back? He's hunting for any opportunity right now. OD, what's going to happen here? He's got the level 2, can enforce. Walks back, slips from the crouching medium punch, and that's going to be that. No bar at the bottom necessary. It's just going to be Lashar with the victory. Really some of the intention, some of the delays that we see from Ryukichi. All right. Lashar being able to take things back and be able to ride the momentum that Ryukichi is rocking with. But however, I don't think it's that far off. Ryukichi also having some good moments on his own, but it's just, you are forced to give up. Almost, I don't want to say forced to give up, but I guess at some moments you have to use like the big swinging buttons like heavy kick, stand fierce, stand medium kick. Those are buttons that you have to extend, and Ed might be ready, prepped, and prepared to punish those. It's easier for him to punish the things that Ken wants to do than vice versa. We're going to see what Lashar, how he is able to keep the pressure on, and how Ryukichi is possibly able to respond. Some of these delays are not working out as much. Perfect pairs are working on both sides. Either way, some good action on the way. Man, Ryukichi, though, he's been showing some cool things up in this matchup, but the rotation has just not been good enough. Run cancels have been checked and challenged. Heavy kick, as we mentioned, has been whip punished. Every so often, he'll do the OD fireball, but that drive gauge right after, not looking so good and so healthy. You see Lashar kind of just waiting back on his own, not worried too much about the bar usage. One game for another 40 bomber. Let me look back at the history between these two. Yeah, I almost said, of course. Unfortunately, it was a 40 baller last time when Reject had fought Belc Feibu Gaming. Unfortunately, Feibu Gaming has been one of those teams that has been farmed for points. I think it's more about the team positioning and where they place their players and what they're able to do, more so than like the levels between some of these teams. Now it's a little bit different because obviously Lashar is just so high up there in terms of like the talent, but I think just where they're at is more dependent on what players they're placing and what characters they have to run out here. Last time it was Lashar that beat TS's Ken, Tokido beat Ryusei's Bison, and the anchor match it was Akira that beat Ryukichi, I'm sorry, in a close match. This time, it might be Ryukichi going to the stands by Lashar. Newly improved Lashar. Final game could be even more on the way. We'll see. That was a perfect anti-air. He was well spaced for that one. Gets the counter right after the heavy. Kill rush off the crouching medium punch. Fake out with the smart to get the grip right after it. I delayed a little too long, and Ryukichi able to get the side switch off of this. These slight delays back and forth. They're both players are reading the attention of like what they're trying to do off the delays and what's going to come next. Passes space out that toe tap at the perfect distance. What's going to get punished? Goes for the go right kick. Sweep. You take that trade. Up in the corner. Ryukichi not looking so healthy though. Still. Back throw. Looking for a preemptive anti-air, but it just did not work out. Confidently trying to get that jump in. Burnout on my own terms. Puts down a level 2. Had to do it too as well. Puts the pressure on. That's a throw. What's after though? The push, drive, reversal. You're still caught up in the blender. Not that bad though. Could have been way worse. Gonna go band to band with the fireballs and the flicker to land. Lashar almost back with bar. He's trying to advance before that even happens, but he's caught with the flicker too fast, too quick with it, and too quick-witted. Lashar. Set point. That stand meter kick. We saw that with punish with the crouching meter kick, but Lashar staying solid. OD fireball to drive rush. Interrupt too far out. Unfortunate. We talked about how Ken has to be a little bit closer about mid-range. Gonna get interrupted. What's the move this time? Drive rush back throw. Tumbleweed. Except for the corner. There's not a lot of help to give. Ball for the stand. Fierce. He did not confirm it. A run cancel into anything. Trying to go to the overhead. Run DP. Finally finds the option that he needed it to be. Sit down. He shut up. Drive rush. Crouching medium punch to take him out. A lot of bar to get in. Run cancel for the throw. Charles going back with bar. Took the drive impact, but gets the back though instead. No roll drive impacts. You gotta cook that. And speaking of cooking, Lashar cooks up Ryukichi and moves on with 40 points in totality for his team. That's 40 points of Yogibo Reject in the run back. And even though they were on the away side, they're able to take it again. Man, Lashar is just too clean and pristine. We talk about this. This man is salad bar crisp when it comes to playing Ed. He's good. You see how this match goes. There's a lot of delays from both sides, but I think it's really about playing around the burnout scenarios that were happening, how confident Lashar is in burnout, how confident you can be in this matchup, and too many risks that were given on the side of Ryukichi and the reward that was given to Lashar. Vicious mentioned it. If you give this man an inch, he's going to take a mile. If you give this man moments, he's going to take it continuously. You see him trying to dash in, trying to recklessly dash in against his cat and trying to risk it and trying to maybe clip a limb. What can you do? 40 points of totality there. Yogibo Reject taking over Belc Fable Gaming. And that's going to be another win on their pocket. That puts them at, let me do some math here. I'm not good at that, but we're going to try to count. 285 in total. 285 points in total will be what Yogibo Reject leaves within their pocket for the second to last day. Man, Yogibo Reject has been just a very strong team all the way through. We've seen them inside and outside the league. We talk about this all the time. They are just obviously the team to watch out for, especially going into the playoffs. Tormeshi was in the stands, probably giving some advice here and some praise and some helpful words out to the team. He's been more of that player we've seen to be out there as, like, if they're in the home position, like that secret pick, I think is a very good weapon to utilize against some of these matchups, especially some of these matchups we won't expect somebody to do very well. I think he's good against like some of the Shotokans we've seen. He's good against Ed. He's like a secret pick against Ed, so that will be a very important, I think, in the playoffs. But this is good. I mean, Yogibo Reject, I think at this point might be solidified for the playoffs. Crazy Raccoon, even if they get 40 baller, that's still 200. That's still 250. Yeah, 250. That's still not enough. That's still not enough. I think Yogibo Reject is solidified for that first place spot at Street Fighter League Japan. So, man, another 40 bomber. This is the team to really watch out for. I remember watching their trailer. If y'all haven't seen it, go to Reject's channel or their Twitter and like scroll down to the beginning of Street Fighter League when it started. Bro, y'all make sure to watch that because that trailer is ridiculous. It's just like seeing these cats on some like anime opening sort of style thing, it was super sick. You know, you can't have an opening like that or a trailer like that for your team if you're not going to come out here and do work. And they are definitely doing work. They may be the highest scoring team thus far. Even coming into today, in both divisions, they are the highest scoring team. So Akira says, I was feeling TS was more nervous during the game. I thought his move were tight during lethal heavy punch. So like, we were kind of mentioning this a little bit, but Stand Fierce and Forward Fierce were kind of giving some problems to Akira. Akira dealt with that by staying a little bit closer, so that button wasn't an issue in the neutral. Torameshi says, our team was really strong. We're winning to most characters, really, really happy. Tokido says, good thing we were practicing each character evenly, so they keep it pretty even in terms of dealing with how much practice they keep on whatever character they have to fight, no matter who they think is coming up on the away or the home side of things. And I think when you're fighting Fable Gaming, you're really worried about what? Akuma, Ken, and JP, Bison, and I guess maybe Chun-Li if Sako decides to like brush that character off. So not too much to have to worry about right there. I mean, that's 5 characters. That's quite a bit. Never mind. That is a lot to worry about. But Tokido says we'll be doing more practice for the last episode. So we'll have to close things out in the right way. We'll see who they fight a little bit later on. We'll get the full schedule at the very end of this program. But yeesh, what a blowout. Yogibo Reject. Not rejected. No points out here. They're doing a fantastic job of being one of the most dominant, if not the most dominant team right now, looking at the scoreboard currently thus far. We'll see how things end out at the end of the season before we get to the playoffs. But Lashar says, I won because Tokido let me practice Ken. And we saw that practice over at CPT Japan at the very end after they both qualified, they both faced off. But having a good Ken player on your team definitely helps out, even if it's not the same sort of Ken sort of style. You know, I think Tokido's one of those cats that's more about dissecting than it is about finding like these minute proper punishes and stuff like that. More about that player-to-player aspect than the character, but he still can give you a very good game plan overview of how to fight Ken overall. Tokido says next episode is Crazy Raccoon. It's really going to be an exciting game. So we see some of these team members fight off against each other on the top team. We'll see where Crazy Raccoon lands. Currently, going in, they were second with 210. So we'll see where they land later on. They said might end up getting first this episode. So they might end up getting first. I think they're actually solidified for first, right? Even if Crazy Raccoon gets 40, that's still 250. And Yogibo leaves right now with 285. So I think they're probably in first at this point. And they're all doing the golden thing. The golden team! Fantastic stuff. So, very great stuff from the side of every person on this team. This is what you want to see. A team full of players that know what they're doing in terms of where to place up their players, only way in the home side, character diversity, having the proper people to practice with too as well. Just a combination of everything you would like to have in a top-tier team land of Japan. You have to have that. Street Fighter League Japan has definitely been that way, where every single team has been an absolute threat. So you have to have that team-based sort of style to kind of push you over the edge. You can't just have one person to people carry you. It has to be a team effort all the way through. So we're not going to be done. I think we're going to have more action, of course, on the way. The next teams that we're going to have after our break coming up is going to be Team Hiroshima, Team Itsuka going up against CAG Osaka. As we mentioned, Hiroshima Team Itsuka needs 30 points difference against VARREL to confirm themselves for the playoffs this episode. And then, of course, CAG needs at least 10 points to stay in the race, 40 points this episode in order to gain a chance at proceeding without being affected by other teams. I want to know what y'all think. Hit us up at _St. Cola at Vicious FGC. Tell us what you think. Who's going to win? Who's going to take it today? Or who you think is going to even make it to the playoffs? While you're waiting for the playoffs, y'all can scan that QR code and join Street Fighter Duel right now. I know my man Vicious is currently in the Shadow Realm right now. He'll join us real soon. But while he's doing that, I'm sure he's playing a little bit of Duel and dueling it out. Y'all can do that too. I have to actually get back into Duel. I hope that they add some more of the Street Fighter 6 characters. They've already added Luke, and I want to see more of like the guest characters. I guess not so guest characters anymore since Fatal Fury is now added to the roster of Street Fighter, but I'd like to see them maybe add that in mind. Now, you can also give some love to the Esports Awards for Street Fighter League and Street Fighter 6. I cannot believe it is that time, people. It is that time to support Street Fighter 6 and Street Fighter League for giving this great action and just a fantastic game to play. We've seen some great things happening in the world of Street Fighter, especially in the land of Japan. So if you can't, go ahead and vote. I think that means it ends the 15th or starts. I'm not sure. I'll have to get a little bit of confirmation. But this event has been ridiculous. If you watch any of the Street Fighter League restreams, they're popping off. There's like 20,000 people plus watching on the Japanese stream. There's a lot of people that are really involved of just watching Street Fighter League overall, and it's been great to see people even go up to offline and have watch parties for Street Fighter League, even for the World Warriors. So there's a lot of reverence out there for Street Fighter in the land of Japan. And it's just exciting to see that love, that just heart for the game. You know, I hope that we kind of get that sort of thing too. I feel like there's some areas over in the US that we're getting better about. You know, seeing more people watch things on their streams and things like that for events, stuff like that. Speaking of events, buy your tickets right now. I'm gonna tell you right now. Hey, listen, come close. Buy your tickets right now. They will sell out. If you're planning to go to Capcom Cup, buy your tickets right now. They are on sale. Buy your tickets. I probably should have said this at the start of the show, but buy your tickets ASAP. If you want to see the Capcom Cup, if not, you can join us on the stream. We will determine not only who's going to be the winner of Street Fighter League, but also the winner of Capcom Cup is going to be winning that $1 million. So Capcom Cup first, Street Fighter League after that. But either way, it's going to be a good couple of days of Street Fighter play in May. It's like it's starting on the 8th of May. Listen, people, we're going to be taking a quick, short, tiny little bit of an esports break, but we're going to come back and give you more Street Fighter League action here on the official restream. Don't go nowhere.
再開は約11分頃10分頃ですね10分頃ですねそしておよそ20時11分頃予定しておりますのでこちらねお待ちいただければと思いますそれでは一旦失礼いたします失礼します
Weekly Street Fighter League. United States. Cloud9. Boost.
Beat it, so you have to force them on some kind of guess.
Go.
That's going to be an easy level. You just have the life to do it.
That is kind of tough. Like, you maybe try to bait out a super to the boost.
Oh, he is just, oh my.
Oh no.
He puts himself in burnout.
Nice.
Burnout actually, but CA.
The tap parry. You get the back throw, a lot more control now for Hot Dog as he gets that.
Oh
that was a little
my.
bit too soon.
What an answer. Knowing that Hot Dog was going to try to back throw him or something there into the corner.
Nice.
And he finds the hit after, which is really nice, and an EX scissor kick. Man, he has perfect parried a lot of this. For now, it's very close as well. Throw might do it. Delayed action.
Let's go! It's over!
Smothered in the corner. Clutching up for Cloud9 up against Hot Dog.
Weekly Street Fighter League. United States. Bandits. Mena RD.
And neutral. Mena has made up so much. Nice!
You are
bait.
a genius. You're dead.
Dude.
Oh.
He tried to DP and got level 1. We take those.
That was actually pretty fortunate.
Oh my god! What is happening? What are you
Nice.
That was a couple of answers to close out those first 2 rounds. Nice whip on it.
You are being literal too. A couple of drive gauge.
Yeah, and that stuff really adds up. Oh, big challenge now. Should be the easy peasy kill with the lair.
I missed the amount of damage you did to your drive gauge. I love seeing that now.
Oh. Easy kill there. Doesn't go for anything fancy. Punish. I mean, a jab, a medium punch, anything will do it now for Mena. And he finds the perfect, clutches it out for Bandits just like that after Punk has been such a menace for this FlyQuest.
さあここからは
Going into match number 2, this one is going to be for all the marbles. I think it will be in any way. Hiroshima Team Ikusa needs to swing for the fences going up against CAG Osaka at the end of the season. They need to score at least 30 points above VARREL. And what a team to potentially do it with, starting with Hibiki with that Lily from the Heavenly Wind. Would love to see him up to bat on the away side. And also, I would love to see Hikaru with another chance to shine, part of Neon Genesis coming in with that Aki. We've seen him show up last week with a different look though. However, speaking of different looks, Jazzy's been doing just that with some of his Akuma play. He's been practicing it out and grinding a lot on stream this week. And so has their leader, the Magician. He makes music with that Aqua, with that Blanca, more often than not. It's Aqua as the leader for Hiroshima Team Ikusa. Again, a lot on the line for this team. If they manage to get a flawless W over CAG Osaka, it puts them in a very, very good position to make it into the playoffs.
CAG Osaka, on the other hand, we talked about it, can take destiny in their hands. They need 10 points at minimum to stay in the race, 40 points maximum to be able to proceed without having to worry about these other teams. That means they got a 40 bomb, one of the dark horses that's been shining in the light. However, no longer the new kids on the block. They'll make it drop. CAG Osaka will get a rundown of this entirety of the team. They've been something but whole in terms of the character selection and their players. Let's take a look. CAG Osaka start off with the eternal ace, Uryo, taking sips with that Jamie and causing a lot of pressure to a lot of people out here in terms of what he's been putting down. After that's going to be Limited Dragon Dance. Eita on the Akuma, showcasing a wild style, but also being able to pull back whenever necessary. He doesn't die, that glass cannon. Theoretical value, don't know what that means, but Finrich knows what it means. He knows what it means to play Blanca this season with that wild style. Also on his side of things, very aggressive, very active with that character. And last but definitely not least, the extraordinaire on defense, Goichi on the Chun-Li. This team has what it takes to be able to take down any team that they come across overall. Such a solid run of characters, of players. However, it's just placing them at the right areas. Again, needs a 40 bomb to be as safe as possible. That's a very tall order against Hiroshima Team Itsuka. In fact, looking back at the history, it looks like the last time they played was 25-20 in favor of Hiroshima Team Itsuka, so it's not going to be an easy run either way. Even speaking historically. Now we have Blanca, Lily, and Aki. I don't know, bro. What do you think about this lineup?
So I don't think I've been really too worried about the first two entries with Blanca. Sorry, the first and third entry with Blanca and Aki, considering how well Aku's been playing with this character. He's been showing off a really, really solid bunch of mixes. I love seeing Hikaru on his main character, right? I don't think he did too poorly with Manon last week, but it just makes sense. However, I feel like Hibiki is kind of falling on the wayside. I think he's slowly starting to get figured out with that Lily, and it hasn't really been competent enough to hang with everybody who's made those adaptations, right? I think this is the perfect time to really kind of stretch out the Akuma pick with Jazzy, whether it's Akuma he's going to be comfortable with or another Shoto, whichever one he chooses. Yes, Luca's included. I think this would have been a much more potent squad just having the Akuma pick. But right now, we'll see. I think if Hibiki can show us something different in comparison to what we've seen these last couple of weeks, color me surprised.
See what happens with the order. I think it should be Goichi, Chun-Li to go up against Blanca because he thinks that matchup's even. But Eita goes up. I thought Eita might go up against Hikaru. You know, obviously Hikaru has had some really good runs against like Akuma players in and outside of Street Fighter League. However, on paper, it's a really good matchup for Akuma. And the way that Eita's been playing, he's been very informed on how to run that matchup. But he's going to come up first, so I guess we'll see how other things land in terms of where the characters are going to be placed later on. But I agree, I think if Hibiki doesn't show out today, it'll be one of those things where it would have been better to have Jazzy, especially how much he's been training on his stream and practicing and getting prepped up for both his characters. I think that would have been just fine to have him there, but we'll get to there when we get to there. Right now, we see Blanca versus Akuma, where, you know, most Blanca players don't like this matchup. The fireballs, hard to Blanca ball through. Neutral too as well, good for Akuma. Try to go for that crouching medium punch. Easy to whip punch with crouching medium kick from the side of Akuma, or stand fierce or forward fierce. That's one of the big initiation buttons, unfortunately. You try to slide through the fireballs, it's hard to predict because the variance of level 2, the charge ups as well. The OD might stop you from even doing that. So if you try to go to maybe like anti-air, like the demon flips, he's got so many variations with dive, kicking fireballs and things like that to switch it up. It'd be hard to call, but you know, Aqua knows straight for the danger. I'm sure he's played a lot of Akuma players and has a game plan.
Man, he's already set you back all the way back to Street Fighter 5, huh? He said it was going to be difficult for Blanca to Blanca ball through fireballs, fam? I was like, wait a minute. Hold up. I think it's more so an issue of, like,
my bad.
The speed of the fireball is just kind of tough in general for any character, right? I think the main thing is how often, or like how well Aqua is going to space himself out to the fireball game, right? I think the slide is going to be a really potent way to get around it. It has amazing range on it, right? I think it's like 3/4 of the screen. I think him having also a sharp jump could be great if you could call out the fireball correctly. But the thing is with Akuma, he's got 3 variations, obviously light, medium, heavy. But him being able to hold down the charge is what really makes it difficult. So we'll see if Aqua can even make use of the spacing correctly. I honestly think him kind of closing the gap with Blanca isn't even like too bad of a deal as long as he gets to maintain offensive pressure. I like the routes that he can take off of a back medium punch. Sorry, back medium kick to leave him plus. And sort of like enforce pressure against the drive gauge, get chip on drive gauge, right? That's going to be so important too. And getting the knockdown against Akuma is going to be really important as well if you can establish the Blanca-chan game. But it all really matters when Aqua threads the needle and opens up the gap. But we'll see. Eita's been kind of wild thus far. I think he's shown off really good looks with his offensive pressure, with his normals too in rebuttal. I think he has a very, very firm ground game to counter poke as well and also get really, really difficult above average type whiff punishes.
Yeah, along with that wild style as you mentioned, you know, it's hard to read what he wants to do on offense, so it's going to make it a little bit more ambiguous what he's going to strike with. Aqua says, I was expecting Eita, so I was only thinking of Eita. I'm only here because I thought I could win. I'll do my best. Dang, let me finish the interview, bro. Like, dang. I know he expected me, but it doesn't matter anymore. We're going to get Eita's interview, but I'm sure it's full of boisterousness and a lot of aggression, just like his Akuma. I like that energy, though. So, Eita, though, as you mentioned, you know, like that man, it's just hard to read in terms of what he wants to do on offense. We've also seen him pull back if need be. It's not always him just like drive rushing in, getting aggressive with the economy of buttons. He's willing to pull back in a style that we haven't seen him play historically, and it's been hard for some of these players to read. And some of the players even themselves have been like, you play like that now? But that variance allows him to shake things up enough where he's not so easily, you know, read or defeated, or maybe sit on against like the fireballs or whatever, or puts out a bad button. So I think that will help him coalesce the neutral overall.
Hopefully, we'll see how it plays out. It's going to be very interesting to see it. I love Aqua, the way that he's been playing thus far. I've been studying some of his streams as of late. He's been doing a great job of applying some really tough to blockable level 2 mixes that I haven't really seen before from any other player too, but we'll get there when we get there, and I'm really excited to see it. But on the other hand, Eita, he's really fine-tuned this Akuma, and he hasn't been as wild, but we'll see. Maybe he'll back to his wild ways, and maybe it'll work out. But as it stands right now, Eita, he's been proven to be a really, really solid and foundationally sound Akuma player.
Don't let me go back to the old me. Eita. We'll see if he even needs it, if it's even necessary. Of course, throwing off that fireball pressure to stop block balls before he even come through. You cannot block a ball through a fireball, excuse me. Little crushing kick though. Hits him with the Tatsu and the heavy kick in there right there for the max amount of corner carry.
Right, this is the range that gets kind of tough. Aqua sets himself up back even further to anticipate the fireball, but that's really pretty much the green light for Eita. Good recognition to kind of move on forward. That punish kind of really unfortunate that Eita was too far to get a link into the sweep. I understand the intention behind it, but Aqua, again, he's sitting at certain fireball ranges. Man, that's actually mad unfortunate. I also tried to walk underneath, but Eita getting the OD fireball rip. These ranges have been so difficult for Aqua to contest, but we get that one single knockdown. What happens now? Oh, it's delayed.
That's fireballs coming through again on the meaty situation. Stand like it was drive rush. He text though. Stand like it in a button this time instead of a throw, and it opens him up level 1 to get it done. Off the top to Eita, switching up that pressure. Second time around. Taking it round 2 as well.
I'm very surprised we haven't seen like the attempt of the slide. I think that right when I said that sentence, he tried it and got hit. Oh, punish kind of on the way down. Catching the dive kick, gets the up ball, man dash forward. Oh, that was wild! He just let the rolling attack hit, and he caught Eita by surprise.
He's ducking. My man's been ducking. Gonna get the damage off. We're the follow up with the OD. And we're hitting. That's it. Gonna spend all the bar necessary to get the kill. I'm surprised that Eita even did the heavy kick right there. He was already ducking, and that's an easy dodge and an easy punish. Now could be level 2 coming through. That activation point even happens, or if we'll just go like straight for the damage for like level 3.
Oh. Ran into it again. It's a forward throw. Ace is going to be hanging back to build at least another bar, right? To get that 3-bar threshold, fireball does bring up in the face of Aqua. Man, this is actually the most dangerous air-to-air. Baits him out. Level 2. The beast is unleashed. Set up Blanca-chan. That's the mix! That's the exact mix he was working on! The raw dash on the other side, baiting out the rest of that parry. That was actually beautifully done. Aqua showing off the stuff he's been working on in the lab.
Oof. Very great stuff right there. I mean, there was good defense until there wasn't. I mean, you have to fight someone that puts you in the blender like that, Aqua. Difficult to deal with. He gets the first game, but he also has the neutral to back it up to get to that point. I mean, he's definitely being able to catch some of these jumpers with the heavy resolve of the trade. Oh, no. I'm singing praises. I'm about to be singing for your death right now. Your eulogy. Fades out the OD DP, dumping a damage. Wakes up with the light, so gets a 3-piece off, and catch the tap parry with the throw, harassing the drive gauge. Like a back throw from Eita instead. Oh, cross sweep.
Got the fireball preemptively. Oh boy, hella damage off of the overhead. The delayed back medium kick. A different look with a different timing, Aqua looking at match point, catching Eita, pressing buttons where he shouldn't. That was beautifully done. Completely avoiding the air fireball ult together. Eita again, he gets kind of impatient too. He's throwing off that OD air fireball a couple of times over against Aqua thus far. It's the first time it actually whiffed, so I don't blame him. Oh, the trade! Oh, that could have been so much more. Air ball, this is sick. You're actually going into level 3 territory. You might actually be dead. There's no way he lives off of this, right? With 9,000 health.
He is done and dusted. Deader than dead. Aqua. Prepare with that TK Blanca ball to be able to get the fault right there. It makes Eita fall on the wayside. They cannot get that 40 bomber now. It's out of their hands. We talked about it. CAG OSAKA, it was all in their hands. The destiny was in their hands, and now it's snatched away. They might have to rely upon the other teams and how they do. However, Hiroshima Team Itsuka, this is perfect for them. They want to have that 40 bomb to solidify even more so up in that playoff position. This is nasty. Absolute murder with that mix.
I'm telling you, man. He was ready. He was ready for that about maybe like a week ago. That was actually the worst part. That juggle also towards the end of it all was just really, really messed up. As soon as Eita was clipped once, I was like, oh, he has level 3. If he gets the right, yeah, of course he's gonna get the right route. Yeah, he's dead. It's actually unfortunate. I gotta say, looking at the current roster of everything though, we talked about the what was needed for the side of CAG OSAKA. They needed at least 10 points to stay in the race right now, but now that everything's kind of gone the way it has so far for Hiroshima Team Ikuza, even with losing just one game, their fate is in the hands of the other teams. But Eita, I gotta say, man, the very first part of the game, I felt like it was in his control.
It was. Fenrich with the JP to go up against Lily. Wonder why he doesn't like Blanca in that matchup. I'm very shocked and surprised to not see the Blanca. Maybe because I think he does have a lot of Blanca practice on his side of things. You have literally Aqua on your side, so you're more prepared for that. So this is strange. So to see JP still, I feel like Lily, he doesn't win against that matchup. She has many ways to get through the fireballs. She can be able to whip punish now because his buttons are a lot laggier than they used to be. I'm wondering what the purpose is for this. I guess it's just to avoid that Blanca matchup that I'm sure Hibiki has nailed down completely with Aqua.
Well, the thing is, like, it's not as if Lily can get in there for free, right? She has to break through the barrier and get the initial charge. And I think Fenrich wants to stop that altogether and force Hibiki to play it a little bit more honest without the charge. Even if Hibiki does manage to get it, right? There are moments where she could score a knockdown and try to go back into a charge. JP sometimes will not be able to let her do that. So I think it's more about control from the side of Fenrich, which is why he's playing this character, to prevent Hibiki from snowballing.
That makes sense because we definitely see Hibiki the type to kind of go with the flow when it comes to going for like that charge. You'll see him like not go for the Oki a lot of times just to stock up real early in the sets, depending on who he has to fight and what character he has to fight. So I guess that does make sense in terms of like preemptively stopping it because you have the Pierce from long range, you have the OD fast fireballs that you can throw out from the side of JP. Him being effectively a zoner even more so this season allows for that to happen. So, and again, you already have somebody on this team that plays Blanca. He's going to have practice for that. So no matter what the matchup is going to be, he's going to be prepped and prepared for whatever comes his way in that green play. So going JP, maybe not a bad idea. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens on Hibiki's side, though, because Hibiki as a player, we've seen, as you mentioned, kind of get figured out. I feel like some of his defense isn't so good. When I watch his matches back, and something he has said on his streams, he texts a lot, especially mid-screen. He likes to go for text consistently on defense, and it's been getting him got continuously. And I wonder if it's going to still be a problem out here in the league.
We'll find out again with a different look. Hibiki had actually talked about it. He was working with Blanca, but he was also thinking about JP. So I happen to work with it too. Last episode was just horrible for me. I will not let that happen again. So obviously, he's had both of these characters in mind. I mean, it's one thing to think about it, and it's another to kind of execute the strategy upon it. What is he going to do specifically for Fenrich's JP? What is he going to do if he doesn't manage to get a charge up on him and has to play it with the Lily and with no buffs, right? Like, I think if you're really looking at it, I think Lily has a pretty good toolkit in terms of her normals to contest JP as well on the ground game. It's just a matter of the projectiles, right? I think JP's projectiles are going to be really the ones keeping Lily busy more often than not than looking out for the normals. And I think also JP has a pretty active crouching heavy punch to kind of stop some of the air approaches, and considering Lily's jump arc, it's much sharper than most. So I don't think JP's going to have too much of a hard time anti-airing, unless the Condor dive comes out of nowhere. Ooh, double departure. Hibiki snuck a charge in there right out the gate.
We knock down, goes for the Oki this time. Doesn't back off for the stock up. I do like that. Or departure. That must be the name of the game to kind of lock this character down. Pull down the departures. Disallow any sort of fight coming through. Down forward heavy punch, trying to get that knockdown there. The stock up wasn't able to. Ooh, the backdash. Baits out the amnesia. Puts him in burnout. He's caught up in the corner. Back though.
Oh, what a sweep! What a whiff punish. That was insane. Has to respect the whole thing. Oh, try to get a shimmy. Vicky, great blocks thus far. The counter here with a standing light kick. Fenrich, that is death in the first round. Very confident start from Hibiki. Not only sneaking in the big Condor win, but also keeping it pretty ambiguous on offense.
Rubbish overhead, he blocks it out again. Defense has been pretty spectacular thus far for Hibiki. Stand fierce to the fireball, blocking out. Has to be careful with the drive gauge though. One thing I'm worried about.
Ooh. Got the golf. Sit up on top of him. No, it's stood up in front of him. I like that too. Most of the JP players opt to go for the departure right in front of the opponent to apply even more pressure with Spike, but I like it keeping it in front of him for Fenris just in case Hibiki finds a way through to try to spire. Oh!
Defense and offense. Holds Perry gets a drive impact, back with bar. Trade. That's the big right after though. The level 2 at all, no activation yet. And he won't have to go for like the OD fireball. No whip punch against the sweep. Does, oh, I was gonna say, got the pickup, but was forced to drop. Level 2 on the way. Actually, medium kick, there's a throw right after it. Taps and carry when you shouldn't. What do you do? You die is what you do. Couldn't be too much right there. Game out of bar, no health to play with.
Oh, what a stop too, a medium kick. Just within the range of departure, you gotta respect it even afterwards. The spike comes through, but now the double time over. I gotta say, Fenrich is putting up quite the wall against Hibiki. We talked about it. What happens if she's no longer able to get herself a Condor win? Trying to jump? No, sir. Back to square one. What do you do about this wall? What do you do about this labyrinth? Oh, that's a good start. Threading the needle yet again. Make it hurt too. Level 3. Looking at that burnout plus a lot of damage. This is full control now for Hibiki. It just sways in her favor now.
To the corner, gets the air right there, the pickup of the DP right after. Knocking over those jabs, trying to find the crouch fierce. It's a stand fierce instead. It's fantastic. If Fenrich can get a side switch here, which he does, gets a jump over, ends it with the crystal slash, puts up the departure again for the lockdown, and is almost back with bar. Hibiki cannot advance without getting clipped. Could be like a jump back heavy kick against like a Condor Spire if that does happen. So he has the distance to be able to react, and sends out the OD as well. The teleport, tries to the throw, attack though instead. Trade with stand fierce right after. The crouch fierce from Hibiki, and he's getting aggressive with it.
That was very early. Drive rush forward, immediate crouching heavy punch, catching a button from the side of Fenrich. Now again, a lot of people, their muscle memories now in the current meta is to contest the drive rush with a medium range normal. And imagine Fenrich did that exact thing. But Hibiki, he's making some really proper reads against Fenrich's defense thus far, and also how much activity he's put up there with the projectiles. So Hibiki, it's one thing being a character specialist with Lily, but also another thing to have really strong game sensitive instincts.
Yeah, I mean, being able to weather the storm of all these departures that are like kind of harassing you full screen, and being able to skate through. We saw him just kind of be able to walk through the storm of departures and get that jump in and not panic too often, like, was fantastic. And as you mentioned, like, the game sense is very good here for Hibiki, being able to find the right offensive sequences and also call the defensive sequences, as we've seen against like the departures and things like that, not getting put back full screen where the zoning play would have to come through. we have to navigate the maze of miasma and plasma that Finrich would like to put down, it's not becoming a factor. Even though Finrich had said that this is a matchup that he feels is in favor of JP, the player-to-player, and what's in terms of the match don't matter in terms of what's versus on paper. So I like the way that Hibiki's playing. It has to keep this up. Finrich, though, what do you think he has to do to switch this up in his favor? I think the zoning game, it's not bad, but I feel like he's not being able to find entry points with punishes at the proper moments. There was a moment where he got a drive rush button but didn't really capitalize. That could have been not the game, but at least have that lead so we can have more proper zoning and more comfortability for zoning.
It's tough, right? I think there were like a couple of moments where he called it right. I think towards the end of it, trying to react to a drive rush is something that I could never be like, yo, you probably shouldn't do that. I think him being a little bit more conscious of his drive gauge is also going to be tough to manage, because I understand what the objective is supposed to be like, right? You're supposed to harass Lily as much as possible with the projectiles to, one, either force the error of movement, 2, chip away at drive gauge, 3, prevent Lily from stocking up that wind charge, right? Those are the main 3 things that Finrich is looking for. I don't mind him going for like OD spikes every so often, or also OD departure to make those strategies happen, but it's so difficult to maintain your drive gauge afterwards if you don't score that knockdown, right? To just continually press with projectiles is one of the harder things to do against somebody who's willing to make those big risks, willing to take those jumps as well. So genuinely, I can't tell you, maybe like if Finrich were to change something up, maybe a little bit more cognizant of his meter spendage, I want to say, for the projectiles, perhaps. Not be afraid of throwing out some of like the regular ghosts instead of the spikes from like 3/4 of the screen if Hibiki decides to walk forward, but who knows, right? Hibiki, he's been chilling at like, what, past 3/4 of the screen near the corner, so it's hard to justify that. Oh my god.
Oh, why
I just talk about
OD
being more cognizant, right? He just started it up with a jump.
I'm surprised he even did round start OD with it, you know. Hibiki was definitely ready, already up in the air, but very risky option. He's up in the corner again, teleport, tick hit throw, to be honest.
That's so far.
Oh, now perfect parry, able to work out here. Departure, yeah, just at the very tip. Departure again to pick out with a ghost. Trying to expend too much bar, as you mentioned. Now use the OD, but only for that lockdown sort of necessity. But Hibiki's been able to stay solid, be in the green. As soon as I say that, gets hit. Trying to walk forward as much as possible. OD expenditure. He'll just drive rush in with the crouch. Fierce, the patience to put a punish on this cat.
I can't believe he snapped his fingers right in front of him without anything prior. Like, he threw that spike like maybe like a millisecond ago, and he decided to snap in front of her.
What's the time up for hand light kick? Oh, the amnesia after the parry. The pickup for the heavy kick. Pierce. Level 3. Oh, wants the drive gauge. I see. This man in burnout. Or close to it, I should say.
Properly. Double departure on the other side. Punish counter does successfully net the burnout. Oh. That's one command grab. Do you move on in? You sure do. Oh, that could have been disastrous. That could have been Hibiki all over it. I can't believe he went for it. Level 3 either way. Finrich is actually going to be eating dirt. Cobblestone and dirt for dinner. Level 3, no, critical art. Excuse me.
You know he was turning that one. What a decision right there. It had to do it. I mean, he was in burnout. What was the option he had? And he was close enough. And you mentioned there's one command grab, and I was thinking in my brain, there's got to be another one stocked up with that CA on the way. It's going to be Hibiki, better on defense and better on offense than we've seen him thus far, especially against Finrich, in just navigating the maze of projectiles that he put down, especially with the switch up. We saw less bar, but there were some moments from Finrich that I didn't like to see. Round start OD, departure, maybe not the best in terms of what you should do. And again, as you mentioned, doing that departure like that after the Pierce, not the best option. This scramble situation did not get the stand piece, try to go for the button right after. You had to know it was going to be a wake-up button. Had to know. But if he jumped back, maybe he would have dashed up and did a button. I'm not sure. Still, either way, he tried to keep the pressure on and just allowed that wake-up level 3 CA to happen. 20 points. Hiroshima Team Itsuka They want as many as possible, and they may get it. Final game, who do you send up from CIG Osaka to stop the bleeding?
Urio. I want to see Jamie go up against Aki just because I'm a big fan of Urio's Jamie. I don't think Chun-Li would necessarily do too poorly. I think she does a really, really great job of suppressing Aki mid-range and also having a slow fireball to back two. I think I'd much rather, with heart, I want to see like Urio. But Goichi makes a lot of sense. What is crazy though is Goichi going in with Cammy. Now, it's not the first time we've seen it, but in this moment, I'm actually kind of curious to see how much he's been working on it.
You see him practice it on the stream every so often, but is it up to the par to fight someone like Hikaru, right? As someone who has been playing the likes of, you know, Punk and things like that, been seeing him on the stream practice and prep that matchup. Someone who's played the likes of Mizuwa, someone who's gotten hit with that. They tried to do the jump back meter kick to call out the dive kick from Akira, got hit with the super. Someone who had probably went to the lab with absolute anger for the character right after. Are you at that level, Goichi? I'm sure Goichi has an amazing Cammy, but is that the level for somebody that is a specialist with their character? We'll have to see right now, but I do like that he has a second pick. You know, Goichi has said that the matchup is pretty even, I think, overall, but he said that you have to play a little bit risky around the mid-range because if you have to commit to like Hazanchu, I guess like Light Lash. Now, you do have Fireball. I think that Fireball is more than fine to fight that. You might have to spend some OD, but the Cammy is like a better pick on paper overall. But on paper may not even matter. Karu, he has been so good against that matchup if he knows how the player operates, even though it's not the best for Aki. Being able to call out some of these dodge kicks, the jump back meter kick, being able to go band to band with the normal Su as well. But is going to be, at least to start off, the Cammy from Goichi.
Yeah, a lot to be said in regards to that too. I think Hikaru has already had like some pretty prime practice against a lot of the Cammy players and also getting some of the international practice on top of that. Goichi, I don't know if it's going to be as strong enough to face off against Aki, who's been a pretty much day oneer. But again, I would have loved to see Urio in that regard. Goichi with Cammy is just not, in my opinion, not going to be as sharp. Now, talking about the matchup at hand itself, Cammy versus Aki, I feel like is rather disastrous for Aki. I think Aki doesn't necessarily do well in trying to react against dive kicks per se. I think Cammy does a great job of getting past the projectiles with the spin knuckle, and it also does have some relatively long startup for a projectile, right? So Cammy can blow up that avenue pretty convincingly if she is one accustomed to the spacing that Hikaru's trying to play at and also the timing too. Like I think I've seen a bunch of Cammy players react to it thus far and they're not too afraid of bubble anymore. One of the big things too, with the amount of corner pressures that she does have, one solid OD uppercut kind of drains that all, and we've seen how reliant Aki really is on momentum and spacing against the opponent, so that also goes against her. I think overall this is just a really, really tough matchup, and I think a lot of people will agree still that Cammy would be able to blow up Aki, but not in a very large margin. I want to say like maybe still 6-4 in Cammy's favor.
Yeah. Someone who's been practicing against this matchup is definitely be ready for those moments and have some answers to help shore up the issues that may be coming through. Try to go with the command grab, we jump out, finds a step tiers. Goichi about that defense. We talked about it. We've seen it in other games. We see it right now. Oh, arrow. Check over the throw. The tech though. Karu, he's someone caught up in the corner. Spin knuckle through, but we see the OD, but he actually caught him. It was set up the entire time to get that crouching meter kick offline as he stood up and got caught with that crouching meter kick. Goichi is actually incredible.
Yeah, she's still going to be able to snipe that out, right? It's really tough. Like we talked about Aki in terms of defense, she doesn't necessarily have the type of defense that allows her to get the momentum back on her own without spending something crazy, right? She could do like, oh my God. And that too, the lash, you treat it like a fireball, right? If that's going to be whiff, you could option select into like, not option select, you could option kind of like buffer into like a OD spiral arrow a lot of the times too, because it catches it on the way back. But yeah, I don't think Aki does have any sort of like real defense. Obviously, she has like the OD dash out, which can be blown up by throws, by the way. So she has to spend bar if she really needs to get somebody off of her.
That's going to be something established that Cammy will do in between the sequences. See a backdash to avoid the throw right there. Drive rush, waits for a little bit, able to get that drive rush canceled a bit later, but it works out. That lash enter, poison is on the throw right after. Another throw, but Cammy does have the option of TK dive kick to avoid the throws. So you see a button to switch it up.
slight hazy. I think it could have killed. I think it could have killed if he got into another sequence with, oh my god, with drive rush, because he still has bar in the tank. But now Hikaru can't throw a fireball.
You're right, level 3. CA even way. Even worse, you see a buffering. Just go for the, oh, he tried to scam him. Dive kick, he's in again. Not the right combo, I feel. Something could have led into level 3. Backed off, could have had an anti-air. Nothing at all. Counter instead. I think he tried to go for something. Maybe back medium, not sure.
Yeah, that was Goichi's fault, to be honest with you. There were so many moments where he could have level 3'd. Anytime he saw green, that could have been a moment to level 3 against Hikaru, right? Most of the time, you can. Most of the players have started to react to drive rush with supers. A lot of the time. Goichi just doesn't have it unlocked yet.
It's a throw. Heavy kick right after, harass the drive gauge, right back at him. Drive rush too far for that medium to hit. Goichi's gonna capitalize, like spinning now all the bar for that level 3 for the victory. Delta Red Assault. Gonna break the neck out, and Goichi proving that he does have at least a pretty dang decent Cammy in his pocket. Obviously, needs to shore up some of these things as we saw in that third round, but the second round, I should say, but the third round, fantastic. He had the proper punish too as well, gets a light lash with that Odie's power arrow. Definitely has the matchup knowledge equipped. As you mentioned, it is difficult to have to deal with the offense, the onslaught that Cammy has.
I think this is the first time we've really seen Hikaru be shown as like normal right now. Like he hasn't been hailed as, he doesn't have like the aura turned on just yet, right? We've seen how he's like conducted himself as like the Aki specialist and one of the biggest threats in the world. But Goichi handled the hell out of him. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. Those last couple of rounds, it felt like it was all Goichi. Him going into the last round also with 3 bars, I thought it would be I thought there would be a moment where he'd have to spend at least 1 or 2 bars first against Hikaru, but my man held on to it. He only had like a couple of sequences and smoked the life bar and smoked the hell out of him.
Goichi understands what's at stake. We saw how emotional he was last year to not get to the playoffs. You know, how much it hurt him to not be able to take his team to that top spot. And today he had said, if we lose, or if I lose, sorry, it's all over. I'm going to save the team, he said. Against Hikaru, nah, I win. Well, he didn't say all that, but he got that side of aura, though. And I like that energy that he has. I also like him going for this pick. Again, he knows the matchup at least enough to not let things like light lash fly. As we mentioned, the spacing against like the Odie dash out, ready prep for that whole sort of interaction, had the sequence down perfectly to catch him when he stood up. And I feel like Goichi, maybe not having the perfect Cammy in terms of like the proper combos and sequences all the time, understands the matchup overall on defense and knows what Cammy can do on her wake up. TK dive kick means you have to really reassess what's going to happen when you try to go for a drive rush throw or a button. She's going to have that option where she might lead into Oki where you're on the back foot now.
Perhaps that is a high possibility, right? Like Hikaru's been doing that for pretty much the entirety of the season. I think there's been multiple instances. Oh, hold up a minute, it's Manon. Is that the character that just qualified for Capcom Cup via IDOM for the East Regional Finals?
Yes, sir. Oh. You know what's crazy is I asked Akira, like, what are the matchups that Cammy loses? He did list Manon as one of them. I was like very shocked and surprised.
What?
But I think this character can play the footsies. Yeah, that's what he said. You know, obviously, still some differences, things in here and there, but he mentioned her.
I gotta talk to this boy. I definitely gotta ask him, like, yo, why do you think Manon beats Cammy? I genuinely want to know because I wouldn't have ever like really thought it, and I'm not gonna like dismiss it, but I genuinely want to know. Because right now, Goichi is not proving that theory to be a fact
at all. And some of this is maybe like the newest with Manon, but honestly, the aerial approach, the ground game, I feel like Cammy can keep up. You're not just drive rushing in airlessly. Like you can keep up with the walk speed. You got these west buttons. You got the stand meter kick, the heavy kick too as well. Calls out the command grab. Knew what he was trying to do. No medals for you. On the door with the jabs, does get the punish counter, but nothing big after that stand light kick. You see a cancel into like a special right there.
Oh. Middle on board. Want to call out against the drive rush. Holding north yet again. Goichi spend the rest of it. Doesn't need to hold on to it. That's actually 2 games straight. Looking kind of rough, man. Hikaru isn't able to keep up with the speed.
Cammy wins.
Yeah, okay, we're going to have to have another discussion, brother, because the way that this is going right now, you can definitely see the strengths that Cammy can implement and the weaknesses that Manon has in terms of reward off of buttons, in terms of just buttons overall on the neutral. And also, you do have good anti-airs. You have crescent kick, crouch fears, you know, from the side of Manon. However, it's just the variance of reward of dive kick in these special ranges. And like, what you're worried about that Cammy can do, empty low, empty throw, jump heavy kick, and some range jump fierce. There's so many things that you can every jump in as a mix-up. And if you have these West anti-airs, it's not going to stop every aerial approach. And on the ground, again, stand beat up kick, heavy kick we've seen, just locking the character out that is Manon. Yeah, if they're whipped, she can whip punish with medium, but the reward, again, is more in favor of Cammy overall. And then you have the lacking defense. You only have the bar at the bottom to your name for a reversal or like drive reversal just in general. It's not looking too good. TK dive kick as well, also is a defensive option for Cammy. Try to go for like a command grab or a normal throw. It's going to blow that up. So, like, again, Cammy might do okay, though. I don't know what Manon's he playing. Maybe Otagawa, you know, showing us something different. But right now, Hikaru looking very lost.
Well, he better get a compass soon because he's going to be facing north if he doesn't find a way from the grave that he's making for himself as he continues to pick Manon. I think, honestly, his Aki didn't do too poorly. I think just a couple of bits of reassessment in terms of the pacing against Goichi will do him justice, will do him fine. But Manon, it can't be this way. It really cannot be this way because Hikaru just is not ready in comparison. Goichi, I think his Cammy's been primed and ready. And for someone like Goichi, right, we talk about him being a veteran. I think he understands much more how to bring a character up to speed in comparison to Hikaru, who's only pretty much brought Aki to the table, right? So in comparison, the years of experience that Goichi has, I think is really showing how much it's outclassed Hikaru. But now going back to the Aki as expected, we'll see if a difference is made.
Yeah, I agree with this pick. Maybe less with the light lashes, more with just like the various like the OD fireball possibly, or just drive rushing with different buttons instead of like the medium. We'll see how I switch it up. I like him also walking up and not expending too much drive gauge right now. Light lash, just to set up the space trap, and just like that, you're back up in the corner with the poison on your shirt. But Mustang, poison down again. The frame kill for the crouching middle kick. Okay, Hikaru with the aura, right back in business.
Yeah, that was beautifully done too. After the puddle is settled, the roundhouse is the perfect frame kill to either still be within range for a medium punch or even a slight walk-up throw. It's really, really tough to figure out what he wants to do. Damn, that was actually a mad far low forward, or low roundhouse, excuse me.
The side switch though. Side defense looking like first throw from Goichi, trying to shimmy with the stand medium. Dive kick at the perfect range, going to press some buttons when he shouldn't. The throw. Okay, that's what we were worried about, that defense. What's Hikaru going to do? Maybe backdash? He waits a little bit. Oh, he tried to backdash. Was it a counter it though? No big deal, just far, but never mind. This is looking real bad. The throw loops are coming through again. What happens when you get throw loop or back thrown up in the corner?
He's going to take a couple of more, too. He wants to get some of that bar back. Excellent block. Up until that point, that's game over, actually. Hikaru has more than enough in the tank to get a critical art as well. What a block. Hikaru with a perfect read. Bringing it all the way back. 2 rounds straight. Damn. That is so crazy.
Yeesh. Yes, I would have got hit with that too. The ODDP, but Hikaru was ready or back in business and have that confidence also with the character. Once she gets her sequences off, it doesn't matter what character it is. It's going to be hard to stop. It's going to be damage on the way, especially with the optimization that he does overall. Cannot do that. Not even round start. That OD spin knuckle was just already prepped up. And he can't even go for the light lash as a defensive tool. He gets a side switch off of this. Coach is all over him now.
Oh my lord. Look at the carry. Drivers forward, cuts medium, punches to the heavy lash for the safe jump as well. That is beautifully done.
The throw right after it. Bust frames off the can kicks. The throw right after it. Drive rush, tick throw again. for a button at this point. Drive impact right back. You don't have to help the play around. He did. Oh, I lied. And maybe Hikaru thought the same thing. He thought maybe he's enough in the green not to work out. Drive reversal though. So level 2, you gotta chip him out, but level 3. Never mind. It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
No, the level 2, yeah,
the work.
No, the level 2 works out because the level 2 is placed. If he did the heavy version, it would not have worked. The level 2 works because it goes past the time where she's invulnerable. That was actually really well thought out. Hikaru went for the medium version. That was actually kind of sick.
Stadium set point. He's out. Side switch gets the heavy. Punish counter. Big damage on the way after this punish counter level 1 in play. Drive rush forward, heavy kick again. Burnout City from the Baroness. Lays down the poison. Got drive gauge to continue if need be. Hits it for the OD. Level 1 for the victory after this. And the Spang, yes sir. It's final game between the two. Hikaru looking to end the run of Goichi.
And that was mad disrespectful too. Yo, Hikaru banked on the thought that Goichi was gonna get chipped to death. That was actually the biggest brain read ever. He went for the medium level 2, and that wasn't even gonna touch Cammy. From full screen, there's no way that was gonna touch Cammy. He automatically reacted to it with level 3. And like, I get it, right? Like, I would also assume you can't tell which one's coming out until it actually comes out. So I would have definitely assumed the heavy punch version would have come out. And I think level 3 from Cammy would have worked out if it was the other version. But that was the most big brain play. It was genuinely the most big brain play coming in from Hikaru because that invincibility only lasts until 13 frames, man.
Very smart. So I did not know that at all. I didn't know that was going to work out in that interaction, but that was fantastic for the side of Hikaru. And him, again, having that confidence with this character, bringing it back, despite what happens on paper, doesn't happen up in the match. That confidence, even Goichi's like, dang, bro, he played like this? Even a match that's supposed to be 6-4, supposed to be winning for me. That's why I have the Cammy. So I'm wondering if he's deliberating on going back to his character. And right, so that may be a little bit more on the even side of things. Maybe not just a sure draw on paper. It might be running back to his Chun-Li and favoring that for this final match. But it's just these minute things that Hikaru understands in the matchup overall that are leading him to success and leading him to these, these big moments of just in general to get the W's over Goichi. That Goichi just doesn't have nailed down all the way. He knows something about the matchup, obviously. We've seen him hit the spiral arrow against like the light lash. We've seen him go for a TK dive kick, so there's pressure we expect to throw. But overall, when it comes to like the minute, finite details, the microscopic ones, the atoms type of details, it's Hikaru. He's been playing this character for so long, he understands everything about her.
I'll have to agree with that. But I don't think Cammy did too poorly, right? I feel like this is going to be just fine to go right back into it. I think it was just one unlucky read from the side of Goichi. But he also got himself in that situation in the first place, so can't necessarily take it away from Hikaru.
Oh, backdash. Hiroshima, dive kick with a heavy kick, that punish counter. But he's back in that range where light lash is going to work out a little bit better possibly, but also to avoid a dive kick scenario.
Oh, does a hefty chunk. Nope. Parry, drive rush forward, fierce, gets crouching heavy as well. Oh, did a micro step forward for the back roundhouse to get that upper. And she's bouncing. Yeah, still within the purple. You could actually kill here if need be. Level 1, absolutely. That single pickup was everything for Hikaru. That was another critical error, thinking he can get out of the frame trap.
Round 2. Fight.
Rare again for the side of Goichi. We know this man as a man of defense. We've seen it being played out also in this game early, but right now, some of these decision makings are just not working out. And Hikaru able to capitalize and stay fine. Set point for him, which was looking really long. Unfortunate. Spiral arrow for the open. Drive reversal on wake up. Puts on the poison, steps in it. I go for the back fist. Oh, the whip punish.
It's been so close knit, excuse me. Goichi being the first one to spend a lot of meter. Okay, yeah, we do get the punish counter at the attempt of the command grab for the side of Hikaru. The first one.
It's heavy, but no big interaction. No drive rush right after to follow up. Let's get the spiral arrow right here. You know, he's liquefying right now. Bolt whipping in the night. And now both at final game, final round. Goichi able to reestablish a little bit quicker. Bar level 3 at the bottom.
Ooh, that is a critical error. A big backdash from the side of Goichi. Not going to spend level 3 just yet, but best believe the next interaction after this one, maybe, but we still get the throws. He has so much life to work with. He can throw them all the way through if he wants to. What? Oh, the delay into the overhead. Grab it forward, you already know. No way you bring this back. Level 3 to level 3, this is tough.
Double drive push.
One hit will do it from both ends.
He's looking for it, looking for the hit for a perfect parry and the punish right after. What do we do? Is it with the heavy lash? Applies the poison, the overhead, blocked out, crouch kick, that could have been it. Anybody's game can't throw out a bad fireball. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
That could have been it. I think he wasn't too sure because of the purple. Uh-oh. Final touch from both ends. You know spin knuckle's coming. Don't throw that bubble. Don't even throw a lash.
So hard. Slowing that access or better tools. Delaying the jab, trying to find an entry point. Nothing doing, no counter hit. With the jump in.
Burnout.
OD too far out, but he was already up in the air.
Oh, you don't get that burnout now. 3-bar threshold. Goichi just needs one.
Oh my God, the trade! Yeah, the invincibility ran out. Drive in back, he's able to get the splat, and that's gonna be that Goichi said, for my team! For my team, I have to save my team! When asked if he's gonna win, he said, nah, I'd win! Goichi with the pop-off! That was clutch!
The drive impact read against the fireball. You know what's crazy? The OD poison bubble, the Nightshade Chaser could have come out into level 3. But it wasn't fast enough. The bubble follow-up is 13 frames. My man was already committed to the drive impact. That is unfortunate. My man Hikaru had the right idea. He had the right kind of anticipation, but I hope he input it. I really am kind of curious to see if he tried to input it in time. But it was a punish counter no matter what happens. That was so rough. But that was so close too. That level 3, the reaction to the fireball. Again, it's only got 13 frames of invincibility. It's not invincible all the way through. And that bubble moves mad slow.
Actually worked out for a little bit. Yeah, I guess the OD no follow-up, as you mentioned. Drive impact was clutch to close things out. Goichi with a, he almost took off his headphones. Punch in the air right there, but it makes sense. He said he has to do this for his team. He puts them on in their back, and just like that, 20-20, it comes down to this. Listen, I want to see a run back. I want to see a rematch. Both players are hot. We talk about this every single time. Send them both up again for this first one to get the final 5 points.
Jesus. My man Goichi making it look so damn terrifying. October spooky season is over, brother. I don't know if you got the memo. Mariah Carey's already singing Christmas tunes, bro. What are you doing out here? Scaring us like that.
Give me Goichi. Give me Goichi. Skip the formalities. Give me Goichi. I just want to see Goichi. I just want to see the run back right now. We determine who's the king of the top right here. The top of the cream of the crop, I should say. Give me Goichi. Give me Goichi. I think it makes sense because he's so warmed up with the character. Yeah, Goichi's like this. I'm coming back up, baby. Back up, baby. Let's go.
Yeah. Again, this keeps CAG OSAKA alive, ladies and gentlemen. The big deal going into it was they needed at least 10 points in the race. They got 20 from Goichi, clutching it out with that Kami, and guess what? We're down to the big tiebreaker scenario. I wonder if it's going to be the same type of result.
I wonder. We've seen Hikaru do pretty well in the first one. So we wouldn't expect an Aki to do that way, especially against some of these faster characters like Blanca and things like that. However, Goichi, just on a Terra being aggressive, being able to ride that momentum, having some great reactions as we already seen. You know, some to his benefit, some not. But in a first one, oh man, I don't know. Anything can happen. But either way, I think on either side, it's gonna be the best pick regardless. Both players are warmed up. both understand what's on the line. As you mentioned, 25 points is going to be very imperative for both teams, either which way. CAG still in the game, still in the running overall. Maybe not able to leave out here with 40 like they'd like to. Same with Hiroshima Team Itsuka, but it comes down to this. It comes down to this. And this is how it was last time, 25-20. Last time in favor of Hiroshima Team Itsuka. We'll see if it's the same way or if CAG gets that W.
まあなんかそんななんだろうなきついなんかキャムアキだいぶ克服できてたんで
Lance is already breaking down the matchup. You know, I will say, like, there's been a lot that Hikaru has done spacing-wise to shut down the Kami dive kick game. I think he's also been weaving in and out of the ranges where Goichi thought he could connect with the Kami dive kicks. I feel like most Kami players are kind of the same, right? They want to have the most optimum spacing to continuously steal turns, dive kick to keep them plus, whatever they want. But Hikaru also has done a really great job of staying sharp and punishing with like the heaviest normal possible. Specifically, stand roundhouse canceled into like Cruel Fate. I think Hikaru is so difficult to keep sitting still. Despite Aki not having like the best walk speed, like pretty much just average walk speed. But he's just done a great job of anticipating the dive kick. So kudos to him for doing it the way that he does. I think it's very unique that he has these kind of reads. And I would love to see him in like an exhibition against other Kami players too.
Oh yeah. On the same side though, Goichi has been making some proper reads on his side of things against like the Cruel Fate entry point when maybe they're at least expected. You see a backdash from him to be able to avoid that. Maybe not always getting a proper punish, but being outside the distance, both trying to have as much real estate to be able to have the range to avoid these entry points. Obviously way worse when you have to deal with Kami as Aki than the reverse, but I still like that Goichi's trying to dissuade some of these areas where, we want to see Aki come through with like Cruel Fate or maybe even Light Lash too as well. He's in that proper distance to be able to have a punish for either which one. That's dissuading some of the tools that she'd like to use. Also, the Fireball, only one speed, could back fist or OD back fist, spin knuckle right through with the ease. So it just, at that mid to long range, makes it hard to utilize those tools. It forces you to have to drive rush in, and then Goichi has these buttons that he can utilize, like stand medium kick, crouch medium kick, stand fierce, to stuff and stop the drive rush. We'll see what happens. It's the final game. It's the first to death. It's the run back.
Really looking forward to it. I think Goichi, this is his moment to just go. You talked about it too. Drive rush immediately from the other side from Hikaru, and it was stuffed out by Goichi. What a time to be alive. This man, he sniped it out when we thought he was going to be the aggressor.
For real. The way punish though against the spin knuckle. A shimmy, but does not get him into a button. Now we're seeing other buttons here from the side of Goichi to establish other neutral tools. That stand medium kick.
Oh
dive kick into the OD.
My God.
He's an Aki. Oh yeah,
Away,
throw right
dude.
after.
What was that spiral arrow after? That was like uncalled for. Oh my God. Yes, sir. I love that air grab. Do it again.
Ooh.
Yes, sir. You thought you could close the gap in front of me? Punish counter the hell out of you. Back to back throws. Goichi in full control now.
Holds this man's soul in terms of, especially being a burnout. Backwalk after the plus frame thought he can get a grip right after it. To throw again, this time punish counter from the tap parry. Not the counter combo, so he's able to reassess with the drive rush. Got the bar to put this man to rest. Oh my God, don't let it be a perfect. Don't let it be you on the throw. Oh, the tech finally did not want to go out. Sad, but he'll be going out. Sad, and CAG will be going out real glad. 5 points at them with a punish counter, catching the whip, catching the recovery, and Goichi taking down Hikaru again. What a different sort of style, but ready for at first the one sort of style. In general, Goichi switching it up, getting aggressive. And man, he's like, let's go. Number one for a reason.
What a beast. I love when Goichi pops off. It's so well deserved, man. We've seen how hard he works on his streams, how hard he works in a variety of different fighting games. The fact that he's still rocking the boots of some of the younger. Dude, Hikaru is looking stunned. My man Hikaru was looking absolutely stunned. He was looking some type of way. He was flushed in the face, man. He was looking all red.
I'd be red too if I tried to establish some of that, you know, at least drive rush or dash up game with the fireball right after. Instead of going for the spin knuckle, just walk up and throw me and just in between the string. Like, that is fantastic knowledge from Goichi to be able to deal with that. And the air throw right after, he was just locked and loaded what Hikaru wanted to do. 25 points to tally. CAG Osaka had said they wanted to walk away with 40, but today they walk away with a chance at the playoffs. Next time they show up, they better show out. They got to get 40 points. Goichi even said that in his interview. The rest of the team has to kind of show out, but I think they can do so. With Goichi leading the charge with that sort of energy, I think it's a possibility.
Yeah, it really depends on what happens next week. Again, this is the second to last week for a lot of these teams to truly show out and make it into playoffs, right? We talked about what the contention points were for a lot of the teams out here. We've only had Yogibo, Reject, and Belc Favu Gaming, where you didn't really need to assess much other than Yogibo, Reject trying to confirm their spot at #1, right? With the way that they had taken out Belc Favu Gaming, they pretty much solidified the first seed. It was about what happens afterwards with Hiroshima Team Ikuza and COG Osaka, right? Hiroshima Team Ikuza, they needed at least a 30-point difference to confirm their way into the playoffs, at least in this episode, but it has to be over the other teams coming up, which is going to be VARREL, right? If they manage to maintain a 30-point lead over VARREL, they secure their spot into playoffs. So we still have that matchup afterwards, but as we get into that, we still have the interviews. On the side of COG Osaka, man, again, we talked about how many points they needed. They needed at least 10. They've scored 15 points over, but it really still depends on how the other teams perform.
And that's the difficulty of Street Fighter League is, like, you know, now you come to a point where you have to worry about other teams and how they are placed out and what happens with them. You know, that's the unfortunate thing. But again, you know, very difficult matches that we saw leading up to the Goichi versus Hikaru match, but able to clutch out for a seed, get that 25 is allowing them to stay in the running. So Uriel says, I'm expecting Jazzy. He didn't come up today, so I was a reserve. The last extra game was just too good. Gonna cheer for Crazy Raccoon right now. I'm guessing they need Crazy Raccoon to get that W in a big sort of way so they get to move on and it helps them out. Again, now you're rooting for other teams. Just sit in the stands like, let's go Crazy Raccoon. Yeah, you're my favorite team now. So they can move on and be in the playoffs.
Yeah, I feel like that one's going to be a pretty big banger, right? Crazy Raccoon needs at least 20 points. And I think those 20 points are going to be to absolutely confirm their spot into the playoffs. But with that in mind, it also takes away a spot from the other 3 teams. So we'll see how that plays out going forward. But CAG Osaka, they're fans of Crazy Raccoon. So I'd imagine if it comes down to it, if Crazy Raccoon beats VARREL, that perhaps sets up CAG Osaka in a very favorable position. But they still have Hiroshima Team Ikuza. Those guys are still going to be a threat, right? So we'll see how it goes up going forward.
They're still in contention out here. Aetha says, we want to thank and apologize to Goichi. We still have a chance. So my Crazy Raccoon, let's go. He claimed, he said, let's go, my Crazy Raccoon. I love that. I love the fact that, you know, we have that energy from Aetha. All these players out here now root for other teams. That's the way it goes out here at Street Fighter League. And Finrich also gives the same sort of sentiment. Really sorry for the loss, especially because I was training. Because I had a training partner I was talking to so much the past couple of days, I should say. Let's go, Crazy Raccoon. He also adds that in there. I feel like that's going to be a running theme with Goichi too as well. And I want to hear what he says about his Kami pick. I know he's been practicing that, but to have it at this level where he understands matchup intricacy, certain things, and as his knowledge of 5 games from years upon years to back that up. Maybe he's not a specialist with Kami, but he knows what to do in that matchup overall. He knows the spacing. He knows how to really break down a player too as well, especially that first one. We saw him get really quick with it. So it's really great to see him with the character that he is a little bit newer with, but still make the magic happen, especially against someone that's more established. Matchup be damned. I don't care about that. I care about the fact that he interacted with that matchup very well against someone that's very established against most of the Kami players that could beat most of the Kami players. So Goichi definitely proved himself out here. Says, I ended our chance to go to the playoffs last year. I really regretted last season, so I'm really happy that we still have a chance right now. Yeah, last season you saw him very emotional. It was his quote-unquote fault, but really not his fault because it's a team-based thing. But felt like it was his fault last season. But this season, he is the reason they are still in the runnings.
Full redemption arc, man. You love to see that too. Goichi is a very emotional fella. I will say this. I think he's done that and shown that off in a lot of the streams that he's been a part of. And I gotta say too, it's like it's cool to see him not be stubborn, sticking with a certain character, right? I don't mind him like playing the Chun-Li. I think his Chun-Li is fantastic, but like in the current meta, in terms of trying to survive, Cammy is just she's the way to go, man. Like a lot of the people out here kind of like making Cammy look great and look fun. I'm like, yo, even from like a casual perspective, I'm like, yo, man, you know what's really fun in this game for me? Winning. Maybe I should play Cammy as well. I think that message has gotten across. Like, no memes too. I feel like Cammy is that character, man. Cammy is definitely a character that still busts up a lot of the roster pretty significantly and pretty convincingly.
Yeah, her master spread's really good. She does well against like the top tiers. The ones that you're going to be meeting just the most in terms like bracket, she does really well against too as well. Not the draw front in terms like the players. But speaking of drawings, my God, this art is is this for the energy drink? On the samurai can? Is that the can that you got? Ah, okay,
okay. Well, not this specific one. I got like the regular standard samurai energy one, but I am definitely looking forward to this. I am 100% gonna get one of these when I get there, and I have to get the Jamie one, man. I gotta stay loyal to my roots, man.
I feel that. I feel that dive kick roots. I get you. I like that blue though on the Chun-Li. Might pick that up. I'm thinking about going to Japan a little bit earlier for Capcom Cup. Maybe spend a few weeks out there first, and I'll definitely be picking up quite a bit of these and trying to enjoy that. And hey, I'll be enjoying my favorite product, Clear. If you guys at Clear want to send me a little bit to make my fro glow, you can definitely do that. So hit up my address.
I got nothing. I got no hair in the game for this one, that is for sure. But this is, I think there's like a Monster Hunter collab, if I'm not mistaken, on this one.
Oh, sick. Okay. That's super cool. Yeah, Monster Hunter definitely popping off. Wilds will be coming out in a couple of months, and that means I'll be in the cavern of my house, not leaving for a couple of weeks for that one. But it's cool to see like these collabs, not only with Street Fighter, but with the other Capcom games that we have. Speaking of collabs, you see all the teams on this shirt from the F&S division on their names. Almost like a band right there, and that's something else that I want to pick up in terms of the merch that they have in Land Japan. Hopefully there's a way to get these on Amazon, but if not, I'll just trek over to Japan. I'll just simply fly on over to Japan, stay out there for a few weeks, and spend every bit of my bank account to get some of this great merch that we have for Street Fighter League Japan, plus all the cool stuff they have for Street Fighter.
Yeah, I mean, I think Japan has really done it big in regards to like a lot of the merchandise, a lot of the partnerships as well. These shirts as well have been really, really well designed, and also a lot of collabs that have been happening with Street Fighter League. I'm happening to be wearing one of them right now. I was really lucky to get graced by them to hook that up. But this one in particular, it has all the players' names and also the team organizations that they're a part of on the back of the shirt for Street Fighter League in this season. To be more specific, however, for this season, they have each individual team with the graphics of the players and their names on the back of it, which is actually insane because this design is actually something that I've been looking forward to. You have two types of shirts too, with the front and with the back, both with the teams, with their captains, and also some of the players too. Be sure to check all of that out. I want to be able to do that as well. I want to say on Amazon, but if you guys want to check it out thoroughly, Capcom Fighters JP on Twitter is where you need to go. Also, they provide a lot of links towards all of the merchandise in regards to all the players and orgs. I genuinely want to pick up like the Good 8 Squad one, but I have such an affinity for black t-shirts that I might have to pass. Who knows? Maybe it'll be a Shinobiism shirt. I'm not too sure. Heck, maybe I'll even pick up a different type of shirt with the orange on it too, just because I like the Haikyuu theme on it. But we're getting closer and closer to the playoffs, man. Really, really soon. In December, the playoffs are going to be happening for Japan, December 21st, as well as the 22nd. Be sure to reserve those online seats if you're in Japan. If not, you get to hang out with us a week afterwards for the official English restream as usual. But man, the big finale happening in February on the 11th. Just a bit before, almost a month before, the big dance at Capcom Cup. The grand finals happening February 11th. As you can see, the S-tier seats have been sold out, ladies and gentlemen. If you're planning to go there pretty early, I highly guarantee it that it's going to be even more sold out as we get closer to the dates, because last year in the arena, there were no more seats left. It was actually insane. Just the type of energy you could expect over at Street Fighter League for the grand finals, specifically for Japan, happening in February.
Do not get caught looking through the window. Don't be doing that. Get your seats ASAP and grab your seats for the final match of the day. Crazy Raccoon versus VARREL is the next match. We will determine so much, maybe who moves on to the playoffs, maybe who doesn't. After this break, people, do not go anywhere.
こちらの準備のために一度インターバルを取らせていただきます。休憩の後にマッチ3であるクレイジーラクーン対バレル、こちらの模様をお届けしていきます。再開は約10分後の21時27分頃を予定しております。それでは一旦失礼いたします。
失礼します。
Yeah, come on, everybody come alive real quick. Battle of the strong, survival of the fit. Take your best shot, hope you don't miss. combo. I ain't never scared, never quitting is the motto. Yeah, come on, everybody come alive real quick. Battle of the strong, survival of the fit. Take your best shot, hope you don't miss. And you can among us. Take it much farther. Fast with the hands, eat Honda. Defend my legacy with strength and honor. I'm the greatest ever. It's a showdown. This is my arena.
でもこの戦に対しては自分が一番勝率高いとみんなが背中を押してくれて今回任せられたんで絶対勝ちます。
おめえが最強だ。
絶対に勝てます。
キは今無敵技警戒でしたね。
おお、はい、めっちゃ入ってる。
はいはい。
おお、なるほどね。
はい。ダメ波動。完
璧である。
お、ミスト。出ない。
いや、落ち着け。これ頑張ろう。
うわー、
そうね。
小さい子だ。
あるある。でかすぎ。流れがある。
あ、シュート。
いいね、冷静。いいね、冷静。はい。
どん。
下がってもいいまで。いいね。
はい。
いや、これたまんないな。大丈夫。いや、ただこれね、怖い。かっこいいのやらないよ。キャッ。よっしゃー、やったー、さすが修羅の子
マジ嬉しい。
修羅の子、いや、お見事。てか、人読みがうまかったわ。
いかがでしたか？
もう正直泣きそうっすね。ずっと僕強いなと思ってたんですけど、やっぱ全然勝てなくて、他の3人が勝ってる中でやっぱ足手まといな感覚がすごいあったんで、今日やっと久しぶりに役に立ててよかったです。
あ、ほんまになりそう。
末っ子なんかお前まだ優勝してないぞお前。確かにね。取っといてくれよ。
あと2節も全部大将やるんでね。頑張ります。
もう何が起ころうがいいよ。水派の感性に任せる。
任せてください。
うん。はい。いい。
ここまでは地上戦。
相手かなり慣れてる。うわ、マジか。マジで。
マジっすか。
ちょうだいそれ。
側の人。
よく見てましたね。ちょうだい。
すごいじゃん。ちょうだいよ。
読めてないと思うけどな。 一応インパクト確定しやすいんですが。お早めの勝負。
うわ、うまい。
うわ。勝ちです。
うわー、リバするか。
もうあともうじわ。今の何？
してるんですよね。暴れている。中足だったりっていうの多分言ってると思うんですけど。
おお、でかすぎ。
うわ、マジですか。でか。それ取るやばいな。あ、そこ冷静ね。いいね。
足元。うわー、これは。
しゃが中にしてる。えら。
投げ抜け押さない。
投げ一つ。
いい。オッケー。
もうやばいぞ。ジャスト、ここでジャストパリー。
マジか。
ナイス。
よくしのいだ今の。
よくしのいだな、マジで。
いや、やばかったね。最後ジャスパ取るんだ。
新プラスやり込みって感じでなんとか勝てたな。
いや、ナイス。ありがとうございます。
素晴らしい。ナイス。水がありがとう。
Weekly Street Fighter League Japan Crazy Raccoon Dokura
ドクラベガペース、中段ターゲット2回。
これもう割り込めないですからね。
うまい。うまい。
対策バッチリ。
さあ、あとは削るだけという状況だが、しかしインターバルなしでもお互い3試合目に入りましたね。パニッシュ。
ダブル2でパニカン狙いというかその差し返しっていうのはもうリターンがめちゃくちゃでかいですからね。完璧ですね。
後ろにいるのドグラサクアがこれは非常に
残る。ここですね。投げ降りて
バウンドしながらの CA はある。
まだこの後いきますね。今だな。
今して
削れるのかな。いやまだ削れなそう。
よくしたか。つながらずか。
Back with our final match of the day. It's going to be Crazy Raccoon versus VARREL. A lot is on the line. Players are still in contention, and we'll see who stays fine for the playoffs. My name is St. Cole. I'm joined with Vicious. So let's get into this first team coming up right now. Is going to be Crazy Raccoon, the judge, the jury, the executioner. It's Papa Bon-chan with that Akuma, who's really developed a stand-like kick style that I love to see. And after that, love back by fighting games, all fighting games. It's Kazunoko. That scammy Cammy taking the skies continuously. Those dive kicks. That's going to be the Yashua Shuto qualified for Capcom Cup later on and looking to help qualify his team for the league finals. The Akuma. After that, last but not least, the man that made the right pact with the Wind Devil is Dokura, looking to get that W out here for his team with that Bison. What a team full of stacked competitors that have found their way with their characters and looking to find their way to the upper echelons of the playoffs.
And best believe they're coming in with a very different demeanor. Everything's been really sharpening up for that team. However, VARREL also pretty much in the same suit. I feel like we'll find out whether or not VARREL has what it takes to stay alive for playoff contention. And what a squad to even think about. What a squad to even pretty much talk about being this far into it all. I feel like some might have overlooked one of the big guns. I want to say like Daikoku, but the others, I mean, they've been very, very competent thus far. Let's take a closer look at who the home team is coming in with VARREL, the unyielding rebel with the most, I want to say, one of the more disciplined guiles that we've had in the league. It is Daikoku, followed by the hero of Sunrise, that is Moke. I'm actually thoroughly surprised he hasn't made the switch to Rashid just yet, but he's still making Chun-Li work out for himself. Prince of the Rapids, always swimming upstream. It is Mizuha. Last but not least, the captain, the 2D god, Mago-san, coming in as well. Not a single Terry in sight. He's still, I think, the #1 ranked Terry in Japan, despite playing jury at every major event, which is actually kind of wild.
So weird. Bro, is that the Gojo? Is it? Oh my god, what a character, Mago. The 2D god, also a god of memes. Alright, Crazy Raccoon, let's see what they put up. It's gonna be Akuma, Cammy, and Akuma. It's like that's a pretty good sandwich right there. You got the bread with the satsui, no sauce in between. Also, Cammy being able to round things out in the middle position. Kazunoko always get the first two or first three, no matter where. But who do you send up in rebuttal against this team? That's kind of a hard ask.
This is too difficult. Ask me again tomorrow. I don't know. Ask me again next week, because Akuma, Cammy, Akuma, that is toxic, brother. Okay, so realistically, I want to say like Mago has to be anchor for either the. He has to be one of the Akuma killers for sure. But I like Daikoku coming up.
Yeah, I actually said that too as well in my notes. Daikoku or Mizuha for Shuto, Moke maybe for Kazunoko, and then for the end, either Mizuha gets his revenge against Bon-chan, or you actually just put up Mago. Even though that matchup isn't good, Mago in anchor position, the way that he has momentum, when he really feels himself, he's able to make the magic happen. So that's more of just like him just having that energy for his team to get that W. But right now, we start off with Daikoku with his guy against Akuma. Overall, I don't think this matchup's that bad for Akuma, but I don't think it's that bad for Guile overall. Obviously, we can go band to band with the fireballs, because Akuma definitely has the speed to keep up and the variance to keep up with Guile. But I think his normal, his neutral are just fine to fight the likes of Akuma. I don't think it's so terrible that you would think it's a horribly losing matchup, maybe slightly in favor of Akuma, but I feel like a lot of Guile players are getting more used to how to run the normals game. We see a lot more Guile players also do drive rush stand light kick. That's like kind of like, I won't say the new meta, but something they're doing like the closer range to not get stuffed by crouching medium punch with a laggier button. So they're switching up what they're doing on offense as well. We'll see what happens. So Shuto qualified for that CPT. I feel like the energy is going to lead him to success more often than not.
That makes a lot of sense. I feel like that's the biggest thing we're looking forward to is seeing how the ones that have just like newly qualified perform over at SFL. Tokido is actually one of those cats that have done the exact same thing. I think he performed just fine. Shuto needed like maybe a couple of weeks to kind of figure it out, at least what he wanted to do. But looking at his recent performance, right, I think he was doing just fine. You saw how he played over in week number 8. He got 3 out of 1 big W's against Hibiki. Hiroshima Team Ikaza and executed the rest of the team. So I'm not too worried about him. What I am worried about is Bonchan and Kazunoko, right? I feel like, you know, Kazunoko, he's been slipping just a little bit, not by much, but just a little bit. He did get a win last week. But out of like a crazy occurrence where he almost didn't do it. But yeah, Kazunoko's been like a somewhat of a hot streak actually. Now that I think about it, he's not as like immaculate or like as godlike as we kind of like perceived him to be in regards to being like untouchable. Kind of like Hikaru, kind of like Higuchi as well. But I feel like nothing really is going to shake him no matter who you throw at him. So I actually wouldn't be surprised if like Mizuha went up for like the mirror match. But yeah, I mean, in terms of the matchup itself, funny enough, you talked about going band for band for like the Fireball game and the normals too. I think the walk speed alone is so difficult for Guile to establish his footing, right? And that's everything for him. Like being able to set up the sonic boom pressure, being able to kind of get within range of Sobots, a lot of the medium special normals that he has. Akuma can get around that very, very well. And we talked about like the nature and demeanor of Shuto kind of utilizing Demon Raid a lot. I think that also could be a little bit problematic if Daikoku's not ready for it. So we'll see. We'll see if any of those things come into play. I'm looking forward to seeing how Shuto is going to bully the neutral with the walk speed.
So right here trying to walk up. And maybe also good against, I was going to say against the upside down kicks, but he's able to get that fireball off and find a combo right after. And that varies from the aerial approach, might be difficult. Does not get the back fist combo. My man was already ducking. Crouch fierce in the Tatsu, PP in there. Oh, trying to go for the teleport throw? No, that Goku already holding north and not go south.
Man, the Sonic Blade just right in his face. Can't really rebuttal with much, I think. At least not with the normal, I should say. Oh, the big bait. You thought you were going to get back thrown? Shuto was like, you know, if I force you to throw here, one solid jumping combo will kill you.
That's right, the Shuto going for that light punch. Fireball to establish. If we see the Guile player go for like crouch fierce, it'll stop that from happening, and the stand medium kick. So you have to get like the perfect OD flash kick on the perfect range. You have to get knocked away. Overhead, caught him ducking. Of course, Guile will be doing that quite a bit to have that flash kick. Jumps out, there's a jab. Maybe thought a flash kick was coming through. Get the dive kick against the projectile, the Tatsu right after.
Man, you can see Shuto really trying to anticipate the counterpoke game against that Goku. Level 3, uppercut level 3. You already know it's Shuto just making quick work of Daikoku this far. And it's just been completely outpaced by the speed of Akuma.
And the variants too as well. You mentioned the Demon Raid, which that walk speed coming into play too as well. Daikoku hasn't really been able to find his footing. You know, the buttons that you'd like to see upside down kick for a medium kick aren't getting the counter hits that you'd like to have. And if they are utilized in the wrong way, that could be an easy whip punish because Akuma can use that walk speed back and forth to avoid those buttons and get a fat punish like with a stand fierce, forward fierce, whatever it may be. Either way, Shuto's been developing this Akuma in an aggressive style. I think he's at the, well, he's obviously at the forefront of this character because his results have shown that. But the way he's been developing and being able to harass people continuously and rotate these offensive options showcases why, to me, I think Akuma is on paper and in practice a very stable character, no matter first to 3, first to 2, doesn't matter what it is, or what matchup too as well. He just has so many options to rotate. Do him perfectly. It's hard to predict or be able to counteract against much of it.
So you mean to tell me in a first to two, his results are not unpredictable? Can you lean into the microphone and say, I'm totally kidding. I agree with you. I don't know where that came about, honestly. I did see that same exact post and I looked around, I'm like, what is happening? Like, Akuma, I feel like, is not unpredictable. That's not the word I was looking for. That's not the proper word choice. It's volatile, right? There's people that think there's a lot of volatility. I think more so with Bison than with Akuma, if I'm not mistaken. At least that's what I saw on Twitter. And I might agree with that because Bison has such high intense damage and can easily take some of these matchups away off of like the single hit, but I don't like his defense, right? Whereas Akuma, he is the full kit. He is like full Street Fighter. He's got a fireball, he's got an uppercut, he's got invincibility, he's got amazing air approaches, he's got high damage openings that can easily find lines of lethal very quickly. I think more often than not, despite the 9k health, I think it was either Sajam, you, or Ringe talking about it as well, like whoever you guys were talking about earlier. I think Ringe mentioned it towards the end. Akuma makes everybody else feel like they have 9,000 health, and I think Sajam was like the first one to kind of proprietize that too. So I think in 2 out of 3, 3 out of 5, Akuma will still be the complete package.
100%. Just finding this out to fit that first of two sort of methodology, which takes a little bit more, I think, when you want to gather data with the character, when you can't make as many mistakes. But Shuto's found a way by being able to implement more of the demon rate. I mean, that's been a style that he is, propagated. I feel like he's the first one to really be like, wait, this is kind of cheap. This is really, really good if you are able to implement it with like the fireballs, things like that, the proper jump ins. So with all those rotational offenses, that you have to worry about, it's gonna be hard to stuff it up. We'll see if that Goku is able to switch gears. We saw him do so against Lily, but maybe not against this Akuma. Frame kill for the throw right after, caught up in the corner. The whip punish was there.
Oh, you're hella dead. Oh, maybe not. Maybe you're living by a little bit. The throw will do it. Oh, back throw instead. Daikoku does have a chance. And walk up throw after a blocked Sonic Boom. My man Shuto looking unfazed. He's like, huh. All right, I guess I'll take that.
Higuchi. Daikoku said that he wanted to get revenge for Higuchi. For Shuto, I don't know if it's going to be happening. It's a level 2. The Empyrean's in. Gedoki in damage. Back heavy kick with the Rago kick. Shout out to Femi. Heavy kick Tatsu Ender. Backs up for the medium. Taking turns. Try to go for the overhead. There's the back throw, though. Come on!
Oh, that was actually such a good idea. Oh, he just lost all the momentum. He doesn't even get the bar. He doesn't cause the burnout. He doesn't get to keep corner control. I like that. Sniping out the air fireball with the boots. Oh, you're hella dead. Number 1 incoming. Even if it didn't kill off with a Tatsu, that was a smoked Daikoku. All off of the miscalculation from the air throw. And he has his head all the way down. I thought that was a genius idea. Genuinely. I thought the neutral jump throw would have worked. If he had done maybe jump forward, I think that would have connected. But still, man, that is such a rough shot for Daikoku.
You can see it right there. It's hard to process because it's like, again, the variance of what he wants to do up in the air. You're worried about so many things. So when that moment does happen, it does occur, are you prepared to be able to capitalize in the proper way? And Goku wasn't. Honestly, I don't know if it would have mattered too much. Shuto just knew what to do in this matchup with the perfect pairs at the proper distance. As you mentioned, the walk speed, even though we see the overhead not working out, we see like the walk up back throw happen when he tried to reassess and back up a little bit. The player reads were good. The character reads were good. Shuto's just too good, bro. With the character, he is taking Akuma to the limit and showcase what the character can do in the first 2 and the first 3 for NDP, man. Like this was a good chance to get the place on the board, but also lead the charge and start off strong for the team. Now, you got Kazunoko up on the side of Crazy Raccoon. We send up from VARREL. Let's see. I said Moke, but I'm willing to think about maybe Mizuha go for the mirror match.
Maybe. I don't know, man. This is so difficult. I think I'm gonna stick to my guns. I'm gonna say Mizuha, man. Ooh, it's Moke Classic Chun-Li.
This guy.
What a goober.
Don't let him fool you. He's waving like he's just happy to be here, but he is happy to take you down. This guy is an absolute troll, but he is serious business when it put hands on the stick. So, the mirror match, maybe Mizuha could have shown a different element, but you know, again, this is difficult because there's so many matches that I feel like are not favorable for the side of VARREL, like considering what they have on their team and the characters they have and what's also put up with Crazy Raccoon. They don't have a lot in terms of like, okay, I beat this character, or I'll go 5-5 with this character. The most you can do right now is go for a walk speed, buttons to buttons sort of matchup right here with Chun-Li.
I think I can make it a little bit more tolerable, right? Before she even gets to like play the air game. Perhaps. I think Chun-Li's Tencho kicks also move her forward pretty significantly. It's just a matter of like timing it correctly with the downward input, right? It's always been problematic. I think it's been one of the bane of a lot of Chun-Li players' existence is being able to anti-air correctly and properly with that down input. But yeah, outside of that, ground game wise, I think it's fine. If Kazunoko, sorry, if Moke doesn't get overzealous with the fireballs or too predictable with it, I think Kazunoko can be kind of like put on edge. We'll find out, man. I think Chun-Li might have the slight upper hand in the ground game. By slight, I think it's because of the handshake, right? Forward or back medium punch. Being able to initiate off of that is pretty significant. But we'll see. I think Kazunoko's already like proven his way around that against like other Chun-Li players outside of the league also. This is going to be Moke's first time facing off against the Crazy Raccoon camp, if I'm not mistaken. They didn't get to play off against anybody.
Yeah, last time, you're right. Moke did not show up. Last time was Kazunoko that beat Mago. So when Kazunoko showed out against his team, it was him defeating Mago. So now Moke is the one up on the deck. And I think you're right in terms of like the footsie game. Too as well, like they want to go for like poking with like spin, medium kick, heavy kick too as well. You know, if you want to establish with those grounded buttons, that handshake is going to deal with that more often than not. But then what happens when Kazunoko gets comfortable with the dive kicks, when he has the right timing, the proper timing, not only just to clip the forward medium punch, but just to clip anything that you want to do, right? I feel like that's also a problematic thing that could be happening. Kazunoko, if he gets comfortable, gets aggressive, it's going to be hard to stop him. Now, anti-air situation, you have the Tencho kicks, you have also heavy kick too as well. Scaling on that isn't so good. So you're going to have to be like preemptively backdashing and maybe trying to whip punish the crouching medium kick against like a badly spaced dive kick. But I feel like Kazunoko doesn't give that many opportunities. It doesn't allow that to happen. Either way, we're going to see what's going to happen in this match. First of two. Okay. First time fighting the craziest of raccoons.
お互いかなりねこの組み合わせに向けて練習はしてたようなので、はい、その対策楽しみですね。
Here we go. Going into it. It'll be Kazunoko versus Moke.
Reversal buttons after that plus from Sonari up the crouch fears. The challenge in Kazunoko.
Oh, that's one of the big things too. Like Cammy having one of the better reversals upon wake up kind of just like nullifies a lot of the momentum that Chun-Li's trying to carry most of the time. But I don't think she's gonna be too pressed about playing at this range either way. It's the dive kicks that gets like worried about, that she gets worried about.
Let's out these buttons. The drive rush out with the jab, gets nothing at all. Stance cancel the fireball to try to end things and just backs away, but the dive kicks coming into play, allowing the entry point. Spiral arrow will cross get DP. We'll just get a walk up back throw, one more hit the ceiling. It's the heavy kick that does him in.
Again, you just see Kazunoko kind of reluctant about like moving around the medium punch, right? Up until that point. Again, if you can't contain Kazunoko on the ground, these dive kicks will be coming up more often than not. Oh, that was actually mad fortunate. Moke actually caught the counter hit against Kazunoko. You saw it too. The punish counter on the way down against the dive kick.
Slight walk back to initiate that. Moke. I think it also helps out this matchup. It's like that crouching medium kick as well. 7 frame with the quickness, faster than Cammy's. Easy to lock down the neutral game. What happens when the perfect pairings come through and you're caught up in the corner and you do a bad ODDP? Easy bait up and from Kazunoko, able to find the finish. Had more to take if need be. Kazunoko with the first victory.
I like that too. The aggression has been so on point, pretty much on par with Kazunoko and his demeanor overall. That's the type of style you could expect from Kazunoko at all times. So what do you do about it, right? Like, what is going to be the answer to stop Cammy above ground?
now it's just baiting out the OD reversals. First one we've seen Kazunoko do, actually the second one I should say, but this one the first time baited. Stand fierce needs to have a hit confirm for that to be real. Doesn't stand cancel yet. Finds the medium, gets the follow-up right after, spinning bird kick, the frame kill right after it, the call out, whatever that was. Punish counter, I think that was a tap parry. And I think this is damn near death. He's got the drive gauge to continue.
Oh, for sure.
Oh yeah, deader than dead. What am I saying?
Without a doubt. Mocha's done a phenomenal job of dictating the pace with the ground game thus far. 10 show kicks, we talked about it too. So long as she has the space and timing to do it, so beneficial for Mocha. The low exposure down below. Kazunoko catching with the low medium. Serenity Stance could be kind of tricky as well. Chun-Li masking her intentions a lot with the Serenity Stance. Could be a pretty big defining point for Mocha to get the opener.
He's all reaching buttons too. You want to stick out like a heavy kick or a medium, you might get interrupted with that stand fierce. Hasn't happened yet, but it might happen from the side of Mocha. Swings out the heavy. Maybe thought a jumper was coming through. Gets placed up in the corner with that level 1.
Still back in the corner. Roundhouse chipping away the drive gauge too.
Harry almost got the crouching knee kick right after. 10 show kick hits, and the overhead orator gonna sit him down with that Soten, and in this game, it's game to game right now, but wow, Mocha establishing that grounding game with the walk speed, with the handshake as you mentioned, and the threat of the crouching knee kick, disallowing that neutral from coming through to establish the dive kicks right after.
Exactly what I was talking about, right? I was kind of mentioning that at the forefront of it all. Chun-Li's ground game is still phenomenal, even despite what people say regarding her nerfs. You can still see it playing through to fruition right now.
Listen, the pros be saying it's still good. Even the Chun-Li players out there at the highest level say it's still good. And they don't think this matchup is that bad. I'm gonna believe them.
You know, it's as if we don't, talk to a lot of the players out during the premieres that we go to, right? It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Damn, that was a good snipe out against the dive kick.
Perfect parry coming though. Bow arrow for the Oki. Go for a button. Yes, we do with the crouching light kick, but in between the string, it'll walk back just a little bit and catch that punish counter. Double dashes up, knocking the door, trying to throw the back jump as they try to go for a dive kick to reassess to catch a possible button. Gets nothing at all. Mocha. Listen, look at the variance right now. The noise that's on the screen. Button and fireball, nice and close. Trade. I think big, but could land something significant. All he needs is a drive cancel to his name.
Oh, that was a little bit tricky. And he still exposes the walk back against Mocha. The defense hasn't been as sharp. Don't do the OD yet. I just said it. Don't do the OD just yet. Kazunoko, he was waiting and baiting the whole time.
What we haven't seen is wake up air legs here from Mocha at all. Not even expressing that option to even have something different against some of these possible strike throw scenarios, just to put Kazunoko on the back a little bit more to vary up that defense.
Bang. Safe jump setup. Jump low, take throw. Gets to do it again. It's not true. Yeah, that's right. What makes him pay for it? Damn. Level 1? No, not gonna do it. OD uppercut. This might be pretty bad for Mocha if he gets put in the corner.
It's been adept at playing on burnout, but against someone like Kazunoko, drive impact, the jump back is there. A little bit too needy and greedy for that obvious option. And Mocha able to jump out of danger. Final game, final round.
That was wild. He managed to sneak away a jump against Kazunoko like that?
Way though, bar back here in the bank. Kazunoko back in the green. Crack out the neck. Half health gone for the side of Mocha. He's got bar at the bottom to use on his side of things. We'll see what he uses it for. We go for like level 2 for like a safe jump set for a mix right after it. You even get a chance.
Did he try to move? Try to jump out of the way after the Hazanchu? I don't even know how he got hit. Punish counter. Oh, the overhand! This is tough. Kazunoko could be in burnout. If Mocha could force it with 0 bars to Kazunoko's name, oh, this is actually huge. Bro, don't OD DP. There's no way. There's no way Kazunoko goes for it, right? Oh, whip punish! Didn't we talk about the normals? We just finished speaking upon it. Fierce. Sultan Ranka. A lot behind it, though. There's a lot behind it, though. Doesn't quite kill. Overhead. Oh, forces the break.
Over the jump back
jab. That was crazy. What a call out against the dive kick.
Absolute lockdown. Jail no bail up in the corner continuously. And again, you see what happens in the match in that grounded game. Crouching the kick, super fast with it. The jump back at the perfect distance. Knowing that Kazunoko has tried to reassess with like jab and like dive kick, or he'll wait a little bit looking for you to press a button. Maybe clip you try to do like stand fierce or whatever button could come through. He was looking for that option. Moke was so prepped and prepared and played it perfectly. Even though we saw some drops here and there and some scrambling situations on Wake Up, the offense was going and flowing, man. This dude, Moke, able to survive in burnout. We saw also and able to dump out as much as possible right here. This drive rush cancel more than enough damage, and also outspacing the dive kicks where, you know, Kazunoko would like to enter. If you're a Chun-Li player out there, you're like, well, how do I play this matchup? This is one of those to pick apart and put in your toolkit, especially at the very end.
I knew what you were going with, like for that message too. It just so happens it was really funny that Moke decided to do like Wake Up OD10 show.
There are things not to do also with that bet. So you can also learn what not to do. Maybe Wake Up air legs. You should probably do that.
Maybe. Funny enough, we didn't actually get to see that as often, which is I feel like a pretty pivotal tool to like avoiding the strike throw mix-up more often than not, or at least the throw mix-up, I should say. Mago's coming up next. We talked about this as well. He's coming up as the anchor.
You know, on paper, Kenny would have been a better job here. But last time, Bonchan beat Mizuha in the anchor match. And instead of letting him get his revenge, Mago, he forgoes all matchups. He just plays the way he wants to play with that same sort of energy. We've seen him run matchups that are not that good for Jury, in ways that are not that good for Jury, or players that are not that good for Jury, but his energy, the way he has the momentum, how he carries it, he believes that's more important. So Mago coming up as the anchor match for his team, the captain for his team, as many points as possible, is going to be a great way to end the night against Bonchan, who has been developing his Akuma in the proper way. We talked about that stand-like kick game that I feel like he's developed more than other Akuma players first. And the Akuma players are like, man, that button's really good. I can walk with that. That's really cool. Similar to how he played Luke. We see it with Akuma, and it's been able to help shore up the offensive gaps that he has had and the walk forward gaps that he has had, so he's not so obvious swinging out the bigger buttons.
Yeah, I gotta say, I think this is like a more so a choice from like the captain, reconsidering everything that had happened in the week that they met. But Bonchan, you can't stop this. You can't stop this attitude. You can't stop this emotion coming from him. If he's feeling this good, he might just be a threat. But Mago's had some really close calls against Bonchan before, even outside of league. So I'd imagine this is something like a somewhat of a run back for him to kind of like reinvigorate his matchup knowledge against Akuma going forward into the CPT. But I gotta say, like, I think I'd have to agree with you. I think Kami does a pretty darn good job against Akuma. Jury's going to be a little bit more of a problem, in my opinion, right? The slow fireball sure can kind of creep up on Akuma, but I think Akuma has plenty of answers against that. To kind of just like avoid it altogether, right? Like, Jury won't even have that kind of space outside of like a knockdown to even get a Fuhajin storage or a Fuhajin stock, so we'll see how aggressive Bonchan's going to be. It's kind of similar story, right? In terms of the pacing against like Guile, you want to kind of like smother Jury as well. So we'll see if that actually plays out.
Especially against somebody who's so good about using fireballs historically, right? Like, that'll also dissuade the stocks up and also dissuade a lot of what she wants to do in terms of like drive rushing through. That's going to force her to go for that dive kick game where the Akuma player or someone like Bonchan will be ready to anti-air, will be ready to let that block at the proper distance. Sometimes you'll see Akuma players like walk and block and like make it way more punishable than just being able to take back their turn. So like that makes it even more difficult using that great walk speed. But that's what's on paper. Mago don't care about that. This man is a god, listed as a god for a reason. It's Mago, it's Bonchan to end up the night. You see who's gonna get the majority of the points. That 30-10. Let's get it in. Crouching with a kick is how we started off. Talking with Bonchan in between the combos. That's when you have to be able to do that. In between the combos.
Dash up again. Yeah, it's so tricky. A little bit of a stutter step forward too, I think. Like that micro step forward to give Bonchan a false sense of security. Allowed him to set up that frame trap nice and neat. It was a counter hit as well.
Go for the Oki, go for the medium, the target combo, the Tatsu right after. Frame trap with the crouching fierce, the fireball, keep the plus frame, switches it up with the demon flip right after. It's a guillotine to bless the net. But what happens when the stand fierce clips that forward medium kick, stocks up in between? Normal throw, just to stock up again, as you mentioned. Get that knockdown, so you can stock up as much as you can.
Ooh. Step down below. Look at the damage and the carry on top of that. Still gets to maintain at least one. You are actually mauling the hell out of him. That was actually mad unfortunate. Bonchan actually tried to snipe out with the parry, the jump heavy punch. But that could be thrown out mad early, could be thrown out late as well. We've seen, you know who's a really big proprietor of that? Of like throwing off the timing of people with the jump heavy? Just a kid.
Who's
and
that?
Mago had done just that to fake out the timing from Bonchan. It's pretty good.
Unfortunately, Bonchan on the back foot. Does land the anti right there. Go sure you can. Does that stand like he's trying to find that buffer right after? You see him buffering that heavy in return though. Mago might have the proper button to combat that. Fierce finds a mark. Heavy kick Tatsu. Drive gauge looking a little depleted. Perfect parry and the back throw punish right after. Which your position is right now. Odie Fireball puts him squarely in burnout and hella ashy.
I like that idea for the side switch, but Mago being ready for that is next level. How does he do it? How does he force Bonchan to stand at the most awkward times?
So he likes to play. This is how he wins. Try rush fake out. They'll take the trade. Will help for that transaction. But honestly, the corner pressure's been really good. His entry points, he's not overextending, to get blessed with like a fireball on the way in or having to go the dive kicks as mentioned. His ground game has been insane. It's the counter combo here from Bonchan. Charge up level 2 fireball, heavy kick Tatsu right after for that juggle.
Oh.
For free, the DP.
Bonchan has been really expending his resources mad early. Damn, that hit both the uppercut and the fireball. Did you see that?
Jesus. Bonchan and burnout. Pick up with the DP right after, yes sir.
Pickup. Yo,
we got barred. The drive impact immediately.
Brother, he is playing out of his mind. Are you kidding me right now?
You know, we saw this dude at Top 8 at CPT Japan, one of those stacked regions offline events. We've seen him throughout the history of Street Fighter and fighting games. It's a 2D god for a reason. But to say this against the likes of Bonchan, who was an Evo champion and a god in his own right, is insane. The way he is picking apart Bonchan, that stand light kick ain't doing nothing. The fireballs ain't doing nothing. The burnout's been happening continuously. It's looking like a possible victory. Now, as soon as I say that stand light kick does some work, finally clocks a little bit late, but right on time to put Mago up in the corner.
Attempted tick throw to reposition himself. Mago doesn't get the back throw he desired. The Bonchan occupying space with the fireball. Mago rings out with a drive rush instead, not fearing the fireball game. But damn, he doesn't have to throw the fireballs. Best believe he's in a whiff punish, and Mago getting the perfect parry as a way to equalize that damage and then also the momentum loss.
Watch at the perfect distance this time in the combo. 3 stocks it up in the corner. It's stand fierce to fireball if you want it. Maybe OD as well. Sends out one of the OD. Saves the stock, sends out another one, but in between the string, countering. And now we see the side switch actually working out. Bonchan up in the corner, drive rush, tick throw. Stand fierce? No, goes for the jabs instead to knock on the door. No, you can't press with that, but not that distance.
What a beast, man. Forward heavy punch. Clip it. Actually, not forward heavy punch, sorry. Standing heavy punch after the forward heavy punch has been established.
Level 1, spin out right here. Hasn't had to spin a lot of bar in this match. Honestly, it's been a complete wash, but it hasn't even needed to be necessary thus far. Drops a combo that could have been way better. I was looking for maybe a reset or no. Know what that was. Fireball for the knockdown. Does get some distance outside the corner.
Oh, he walked the hell out of him. Yo, he's actually almost dead. He dropped it. I can't believe it. Mago, he could have had the big W, but he dropped it. Not like this. Bonchan can easily make a comeback off of a single hit because of the 3-bar threshold. He has critical art as well. And it's Mago solidifying the big W for VARREL. keeping the dream alive. 30 points to their name. Absolutely ridiculous showing. That is the first time I had ever seen one Mago play so ridiculously good. Absolutely stellar. But it's also the first time I've seen Bonchan get knocked down in that way where he didn't score a single round. That is immaculate. Team VARREL making it real big going into potential playoff contention. Damn!
Now, we didn't get to talk about the interview, but previously, before the game even started, Mago said, this game is just an easy game. Bonchan said, I'll do my best to beat Mago, but this man saying this game is just an easy game, he made it look easy and breezy. The way that he was being able to space trap this cat, you thought you go for a crouching needle kick? No go, bozo. Look at that, the stand here. God. The immaculateness on the footsies, that's why he's a 2D god. And the fact that he's being able to reassess, okay, I didn't get the counter combo that way. We're going for the foot dive right after. Having the variance with the foot dive too as well. This guy, Mago, is insane. In a matchup that's not so good, he don't care about what's on paper, bro. I think that's been a big theme, and it's not worked for some players, but it's definitely worked out here for Mago. Forget what's on the paper, rip it up. The player-to-player aspect was big here, and Mago able to take the game overall clean. That wasn't even a game, it was a complete washing. It was an exhibition, no, an execution. Mako. I've never seen him play like that, bro. And he's been good the past couple of weeks, especially at the CPT, we saw. But against Bonchan, insane.
You guys are nuts. A little bit of a side note, if you guys hadn't checked it out, Plus One Frame actually had their a subsidiary of Team VARREL. They just released like the big clothing line, like the new line of it. Also, you sometimes catch some of the commentators wear it on the stream as well. But big ups to them. They've been doing it big in terms of like the streetwear merch and also like giving a lot of the players like that their professional headshots, if you will. There's definitely a lot of players out there that have modeled for the clothing line. It's really, really cool. But VARREL, man, back onto the topics at hand. This was a phenomenal set for this whole group, right? I think it would have been cool to see Daikoku get his big W against Shuto, but that's like a tall order. Not gonna lie to you, man. No disrespect away from Daikoku. Shuto is playing like a whole different demon these last couple of months, so it could have gone either way, even if you put like Daikoku or Mizuha. But Moke stepping up to the plate against Kazunoko, that was a huge shocker to me. I was genuinely surprised. Not as surprised as Bonchan not scoring a single round. Surprised. But this was everything for VARREL going forward into it, because they needed to be above Hiroshima Team Igusa. They needed to win the big W against Crazy Raccoon, which they did. It doesn't necessarily guarantee him the spot just yet, but it's pretty damn close. I think it's like a 5-point difference between the two right now. I could be mistaken, but that is like too close for comfort right now.
Yeah, in standings after all this, but man, oh man, did they play their hearts out. And honestly, like Daikoku, I feel like he's one of those cats that just got dealt a bad hand. And I gotta wonder on the reverse of things, if Crazy Raccoon had put Shuto at the very end, if things would have been a little bit different. I'm not sure, but the order definitely matters. I think they wanted Shuto to go up, and they thought Bonchan could kind of take down whatever opposition would have came through. But the way Mago was playing out of his mind, though, it's rare. Anyway, to the interview. I'm yapping too much. Mizuwa says, we had some good feelings and everybody was confident. I was surprised that I was a reserve, even though I felt good about playing. But hey, it was a great win either way. Daikoku says, I trained for Akuma a lot, but I was nervous and my moves were really stiff today. I want to do better next time. We kind of saw it in his play, not so confident in his decision making, a little bit laggy in terms of like what he wanted to do in terms of like the buttons and like the boom game. Obviously, Akuma could go band to band with us. We talked about that, but didn't seem as confident to run the OD to kind of gain some ground. So, and again, Shuto, I think if you weren't nervous, it would have been a hard, tall order to ask, considering how labbed out that matchup he is in terms of people he's played. I'm sure he's played against Lex and people from around the world has got that practice. So it's gonna be a tall order to fight someone that's so practiced in that matchup overall.
We are getting the rest of the interviews in, and man, it's kind of kind of a lot being said from both ends. Damn. Mago had definitely a mouthful to say against Bonchan, which we're gonna get into just in a little bit as like the full translation gets squared away. But yeah, going forward, man, there's a lot to look forward to for the CPT. I want to see more of these players kind of make it all the way through. And with the big announcement that had happened over at Blink Respawn, with the winning team of Street Fighter League making it into the big dance and getting their own slots is a pretty significant deal for all 4 players. So maybe it could be Team VARREL, right? I think Mago has been on the big stage before for Street Fighter League finals. He's been a champion before as well in previous seasons. May not necessarily be in the same game, but in Street Fighter 5. So we'll see how that plays out going forward. I'm really excited to see like the future of VARREL, especially with this like brand new composition. See if they can go the distance. But okay, buddy. All right, buddy. A little bit too much. A little bit too much. Let's cut it off. But Mago, he issued out the big challenge. He's like, yeah, you want to beat me? I'm too strong for you, Bon-chan. But the serious note, pretty much thanking the fans too. He said we got 30 points today. CAG got 25 last match. So if we win next episode, we'll have a big chance of proceeding. We'll continue to do our best.
Fantastic stuff. You know, seeing these teams throw up like volume has been really great all across the board throughout the entire day, and creating some big surprises. Obviously, I think this is the biggest one. You know, being VARREL stepping up to the plate, stepping up to the challenge against a team that was starting to dominate a little bit. And here we have the totality of the scoreboard all across the board. You see the variance: 40-0. Yogibo taking down Feibu Gaming. Sorry, excuse me. Hiroshima team Itsuka going up against CAG OSAKA, and then Crazy Raccoon falling to VARREL 30-10. I thought it was going to be switched, to be honest. When I came in, I was like, you know, Crazy Raccoon's going to have been on a tear. You got Shuto, you got a stack team that's starting to get a hold of what they need to do. But the fact that Crazy Raccoon leaves only 10 points in their pocket is big. And this sets up the scoreboard. Reject, 285. Crazy Raccoon, 220. Team Itsuka, 190. VARREL, 185, only 5 points away. CAG OSAKA, 160. Belc Gaming obviously at 80. But things are still in contention.
So damn close, right? We talked about it a little bit earlier. Hiroshima team Ikusa barely staying alive with 5 points. CAG OSAKA still has a fighting chance, especially with the performance from Goichi rounding out the points. I gotta say, I love seeing it 160 instead of 155. I'll tell you that much. But still, this is so difficult to tell who will be making it further on. Yogibo Reject, however, one thing is guaranteed, they will have the most favorable seeding going into the playoffs, as they do not have to play their first match. They get to kind of scoop on over into the big part of the playoffs of Winners Finals. So, with that in mind, again, with how close it is, you don't want to miss it. We still have one more week of regulation play for Division F. This is actually so insane. I thought, for some reason, Division S was a lot closer, but this is looking pretty darn tight.
One of those things where it's up to other teams and how they perform, how your team performs. Anything could happen. At this point, we may see the bottom go to the top. You know, I can't call it. I don't think anyone can call it in terms of who's going to win, especially what happened today. You see some of these players getting absolutely dusted, some of these matchups working out in favor or not in favor. It's so hard to call, and that's been Street Fighter League all the way through. It's been hard to call who's going to get these top spots when you only have 3 spots for the playoffs and you have such stacked teams in terms of players, strategy. It's been hard to be like, this team is going to take it today, as we've seen people get their lick back sometimes, or sometimes just have the double jeopardy happen for them and get that win. And now we're going to see the graph, some of these players and how they've been able to perform. Yes, see, Crazy Raccoon was on the up and up. They were doing great, and then today just got smoked. Belc Gaming has not won anything, unfortunately. They're the only ones you can really kind of count on to not pass through just because they're not able to find the right strategy. But all the other teams have been in pure contention, and this is our next setup right now for Division S coming up the next time we meet. Seoul versus Detonation Focus Me, that was going to be a banger. Nemo versus Itazan, Tobi's Gaming going up against NTP Oja and Good 8 Squad against Fukushima Ibushingen.
That is going to be wild. That is for sure. So be sure to mark your calendars along the way. November 19th for the very final day, final week for Division S. You guys do not want to miss it. You guys have invested so much time into it. It's time to reap your rewards. Which one of your teams have made it through? In the meantime, you had just tuned in to Division F. This is what's coming up next. Also in that following week, November 22nd, VARREL going up against Hiroshima team Ikusa, Crazy Raccoon versus Yogibo Reject, then CAG OSAKA versus Belc Gaming. Again, OSAKA still has that fighting chance. They're only 30 away from the threshold of making it into the big dance. they're just relying on the other two teams, VARREL and Hiroshima Team Ikuza, to do poorly. But that's going to be so tough to manage, because what if the tiebreaker happens? We'll find out when we get there. This is what the calendar is looking like. We won't be taking any more significant breaks because of the fact that we don't have any big premieres happening in the month of December. Sorry, November, excuse me. But in December, that's when Kings of the World happens. That's, I feel like, going to be, I want to say, like right before the big playoffs for Street Fighter League Japan anyway, so there is a lot of ample time to catch everything that you can.
Yeah, a lot going on in Land Japan, and also for Street Fighter 6, as we mentioned, Capcom Cup, the tickets are on sale right now. Go buy those, and it is in March. I misspoke. It's not in May. It is in March. Please pull up to this if you can. See it in person, because seeing Capcom Cup or any of these finals, especially the World Finals, the Championship, Street Fighter League will be there too as well, is something to behold. Be able to feel the energy, see the players in person. It's definitely a very different look that you definitely want to be a part of. If you can travel out there, I'll be trying to travel out there too as well. Maybe stay a week or two out there just to kind of hang out and see the sights and kind of interact with the teams, but definitely want to see the finale of everything, because it's been a very exciting season, and we'll be seeing the end of everything as mentioned on the dates as you had mentioned previously, the 21st and 22nd of December, the finale in February the 11th for Street Fighter League Japan. We'll have one team picked out when the dust settles to fight off against the US and EU teams, which the EU is starting actually today, I believe, actually maybe in a couple of hours in terms of when this is playing. And of course, US has been going for a while with some great action that if you miss, hit the VODs, you don't want to miss out on the Wednesdays.
Yeah, so it's going to be about like 6 hours until the debut of Street Fighter League EU live. That's going to be kind of crazy. But you know what else is crazy? The amount of fan support that we get in each and every one of these occurrences for both the playoffs and the grand finals for Street Fighter League Japan. And also, the match order also may change. I did get a heads up from production for the Division F or even for Division S. So keep in mind that some of the matchups might change up the order, but in terms of who's facing off who, the match will be the same. But going into it right now, the World Warriors Super Region Japan #4, that's going to be happening this weekend. I'm so excited to see how that plays out thus far, because again, you could have somebody who does absolutely pretty much like immaculate all the way through and qualifies straight into Capcom Cup, but the way things turned out, especially with the East Regional Finals, you never know who's going to take it down in that top 8.
Definitely, if you want to join the public viewing that they have, you can scan that QR code to join the likes of Aru Hamako and Idazan. I'm sure Idazan will be talking much smack, or maybe not like that, but definitely have a different look or different listening party. Again, mentioning that they have these different viewing parties and things like that is such a cool thing over in Land Japan. They have things in public, they have things online, they have people that are re-streaming that or are part of the FGC for a long time or not part of the FGC and just recently getting into the fighting games. So good to see that support and that love for fighting games. You should be giving a lot of love and support out here every single Wednesday. They're going to week 6 for Street Fighter League US. And it's been some spicy action, to say the least. Some of the responses from some of the players. So make sure you don't miss any of that. Not only the action, but the action outside too as well. You see the lineup right there that's coming through, and we're getting closer and closer to a possible point where we start seeing some of these teams going to take these leads. But again, we'll see what happens with EU. That's going to be coming up, as mentioned, in just a few hours. Maybe 6 hours is more than a few hours, but either way, live. I can't believe I'm saying that, live. EU will be live until they are done. Weeks of Street Fighter EU final will be coming through, and the teams have been solidified. You got the birds out there. You got returning faces. You got new faces like Juicy Joe on the JP. So be a lot of great action to witness, and a lot of good variety in terms of characters.
Really looking forward to it. I'm glad they actually put the entire spread of players. This is what you're going to expect going into episode #1. And also the talent lineup being announced. They got Jammers. Damascus joined the group. They have Yipes also stepping up to the plate, coming in from New York. Step up. That's what I'm talking about. Then, of course, we got Logan Sama hosting it all. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a fine time to enjoy all the Street Fighter action with you guys. And until then, keep on playing in the streets. Catch you for the next one. Peace out.
では次回ディビジョン S の第10節でお会いいたしましょう。さよなら。
さよなら。
というので、
そうですね、確かに
取れるだけポイントは稼いでアドバンテージを取りに。アローでこれ確定か。
釣られちゃいそうですが、
仕込みながら TS 画面下歩いてきた。
うわー、そうですが、
仕込みながら TS。
オッケー。
最後はアムネジアから
ここは投げを選択。
次も
まだのジャスコ狙ったか。
さあ流星
2ゲージある。
うわ似ている。
まだのジャスコ狙ったか。
いいガード。
さあ流星
いやー、これがです。
ここ出たの素晴らしいですね。やっぱりなんだかんだで B ハトのワープからの攻めをやっぱ JP ですごい
抜けんのか。ドライブゲージがこれで戻ってくる。いやー似てる。抜けんのか。
なんでうますぎる。完璧です。ありがとうございました。ごめん。
やばい。そこ見てんのか。やば。
さあ、おお、そして帰って、うわー、やる。
しかもゲージが溜まってる。
拾ってそのままグランドシェードキャノンボール。
いや、どうだ見せるか。
さすがに減るかこの体力。あ、
行くと思います。行ってほしい。よしよしよしよしよし。ナイス、行ってほしいです。いけ。これもう9戦いけ。
はいはい。おー、怖い。
ほっぱ。これは確定。ああ、壊す。ああ、これ壊しちゃってるぞ。食っている。クリティカルアーツ。台風が巻き起こる。
いや、今のよく回しましたね。
お前打つなよ。お前打つんじゃないよそれ。負けたらどうすんだよ。
俺の勝ちだろこれは。
なのか。
珍しすぎる。
インパクト。勝負をかける。インパクト。
インパクト。すごい。インパクトか。
次圏内。おー、いった。確定。
確定いる。難攻不落。
いいです。
おい。
やったー。おいゴイさん。最強よ。最強っすわ。
あ、ごめん。
マジか。
まあ。
返した。ドライブゲージが減って。
うわー、止めている。これで
人に超えてない。あ、うますぎた。オッケー。プレイオフ確定です。やったー。ナイス。
惜しいね。
新攻撃一発圏内。
さあ数の子どう耐える。バード。
うますぎる。やるわ。
ようやった。本当に強いな。
シュワシュワね、やられ判定が残らないのでね。
あばれ。
非常に難しい。
上。そして投げる。
うつい。いや
そして投げる。
ナイス。いい飛び。
完
璧です。オッケー。
任しとけよ。
やばいなすごい。
オッケー。
やばいな。
あざっす。